Hello everybody, welcome to another live stream. So today we have our Axiom Space Mission 3. So this is the third launch for Axiom. It is a fully privatized flight to the International Space Station. So I just need to do a thing because I don't have it on my, there we go. I didn't have the scrolling text on my Facebook. Guys, it has been an incredibly long day. I have been off from work for over a week, and it's driving me nuts. And a week? No, not a week. It's not even been a week. It's been like 4 days. So yeah, we are going to be watching this mission today. So we are about 2 hours away from liftoff. So yeah, it's going to be, we're basically going to be watching them possibly go down to the rocket, get into the rocket, and then basically just the countdown procedure and all that. So it's going to be quite fun. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. So today I had the pleasure of getting a phone call from BT, who is my broadband provider here in the UK. So BT stands for British Telecom, and EE, the new company, has basically brought and taken over BT, which to anyone like me, it's quite sad to see BT sort of be taken over by EE. But I actually learned today that EE is actually still owned by Orange, which, as a 31-year-old man who used to have an Orange SIM card back when I was a kid, when you used to get like Orange Wednesday, so it was basically you topped up your phone like £5 a week or something like that, and you'd get a free cinema ticket. Which was pretty cool. So yeah, I have been doing lots of cleaning in the studio today. The lighting is a little bit different. My lights are a bit lower, so I think I might be putting them back up because they're actually kind of blurring out the background a bit. But I'm gonna flick on these guys' music intro, their audio. I'm going to turn it down first. I think we're getting ready to hear what they have to say. Here we go. So we are running in 1080p, of course. Nice, look at that. I love the stance. The stance is so cool. Nice. Epic music. Axiom 3. Redefining whatever that was. Redefining the pathway to Leo.
Launch coverage of Axiom Mission 3, also known as Ax-3. The clock is actively counting down at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And our 4 all-European crew members are already on board.
Oh, wow.
Strapped into Dragon.
Okay, they're already on.
From Launch Complex 39A. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Rackham, Spacesuit Ventilation Lead for Axiom Space, based in Houston, Texas, and I am very excited to be covering Axiom's third crewed mission to the International Space Station.
And I'm Kate Tice, Senior Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX. It's so great to have you back with us once again,
Thank you,
John.
Kate. I'm excited.
We're here at SpaceX headquarters in
Hawthorne, California,
with SpaceX Mission Control Center just behind us. Actually, live view there inside Dragon capsule with our Ax-3 crew. We're counting down to our first human space flight mission of 2024. Ax-3 follows a busy 2023 where SpaceX completed 96 missions, delivering astronauts,
jeez, 96 missions.
To orbit.
That is crazy.
This includes the second Axiom mission, Ax-2, which launched to the International Space Station in May of last year.
Just going to move my
2023 was a
camera up a bit.
Axiom Space, which saw progress on
I'm going to try and get, there you go, that's slightly better.
And the Artemis program. And as you mentioned, all of this was punctuated by the success of our Ax-2 mission, which saw 3 new astronauts fly to orbit under the command of Peggy Whitson.
IMA.
Flight computer is now transitioning to pad hatch closed, and as a final reminder, ensure all items are secure from now through launch.
Nice, there you go.
Copy all, Jake, and please thank the advance team and the closeout team for their fine work today.
Fine work today.
You got it, Mike. I'll relay the message.
Nice.
All right, so there on the right-hand side of your screen, that's SpaceX Core or Crew Operations and Resource Engineer for today. That's Jake Vendel. We'll be hearing him communicate with the crew quite often today, as he is the primary voice to the crew, both while they are in space as well as still on the ground, as we see them here. That's a live view between our commander, Michael Lopez Alegria, and our pilot, Walter Villaday, there on the left-hand side of your screen. So, John, you were talking about Peggy Whitson.
Why is my...
I am a big fan of Peggy, and it was just so awesome to see her in the commander's chair for that Ax-2 mission.
I know, I'm super excited as well, Kate. So, you were talking there about the core. Let's go ahead and take a look at our crew who's on Dragon today.
So that's our crew.
All right. Well, this crew is the first all-European crew. And we have our commander MLA, Michael Lopez Alegria, but beyond that, it's noteworthy to note that the Ax-3 is the first all-European commercial crew to visit the orbiting lab, including the first astronaut from the country of Turkey.
I was going to say Turkey.
So we have a lot of ground to cover today, but our immediate focus is those 4 astronauts that you see on the screen.
Here we go. So you got Spain.
As I mentioned, first up, the commander of our flight today, Michael Lopez Alegria.
Jeez, he's already got 67 hours.
He's a dual citizen of the United States and Spain.
Oh, man.
Marks his 6th mission to space, having completed 3 space shuttle flights and a Soyuz mission as a NASA astronaut, prior to commanding Ax-1 at Axiom Space. MLA holds the NASA record for both the total number of spacewalks.
We're commencing a health check for the launch escape system. Expect a momentary flight computer change, and then we'll go back to pad hatch closed.
Oh, that's a bit sharp. So, come on, talk.
MLA holds the NASA record for both the total number of spacewalks, or EVAs, and the cumulative amount of time spent conducting spacewalks. In 2020, he was inducted into the U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame, and today, when he's not in low Earth orbit, MLA serves as Axiom Space's chief astronaut.
Our pilot on today's flight, Colonel Walter Villaday from the Italian Air Force, is taking his inaugural trip to low Earth orbit. Villaday currently serves in the Italian Air Force and as head of the Italian Air Force's representative office in the United States. He has completed cosmonaut training as a space engineer, participated in multiple analog training missions, and flown a variety of aircraft and missions.
Why won't it let me do a poll?
This mission is significant.
I'm trying to do a poll, guys, on the chat. It's not letting me.
Italian Air Force.
And our third crew member for today's mission is mission specialist Alper Izarace. Through this mission, Alper becomes the first Turkish astronaut to go to space. With 15 years of experience across a myriad of aircraft for the Turkish Air Force, Izarace got his start in the Air Force Academy in Istanbul, Turkey, and earned a master's degree from the U.S. Air Force Institute of Technology. He then flew as a commercial airline captain for several years before returning to duty in the Turkish Air Force. And on a further note, this mission marks the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Republic of Turkey.
And finally, we have mission specialist Marcus Want, a lieutenant colonel in the Swedish Air Force. He flew 9 years as a fighter pilot and graduated from the U.S. Navy Test Pilot School at the top of his class. In November of 2022, Marcus was selected by the European Space Agency, or ESA, as an astronaut reserve. However, with the Ax-3 mission, he becomes the first project astronaut in ESA's history, a new designation in their ranks. In just a few short hours, he'll be only the second ESA astronaut of Swedish nationality to ever go to the International Space Station, a milestone marked in a year of jubilee as the 500th anniversary of the founding of the country of Sweden.
Damn, that's crazy.
So as you can see there, this crew has an immense amount of training behind them, both individually and as a team. They bring years and years of experience and preparation to this mission, and together they make up that first all-European crew, each proudly representing their respective nations. Missions like Ax-3 help expand that path to low Earth orbit and open up the doors to others to follow. So this crew is prepared, They're now strapped in and ready, so let's recap how they got to this point. Crew first started their day with ending their pre-flight quarantine phase. They took a flight to KSC. They got to see their vehicle as they flew in to the launch landing facility at Kennedy Space Center. And at that point, they arrived to be able to say goodbye to their friends and family and wave to them before getting handed over to SpaceX for the rest of their day.
Do you know what? I wish they had a camera
we had the weather briefing.
From
Actually,
like where the trunk area is.
The first
looking back down.
Of the crew as they exited the Falcon
So
support
I don't know
building.
if you can
That's
actually
about a half
see,
mile
but
down the
I've
road
got the
from
Falcon 9
launch
here.
pad. I love this part
So it
where
would
they
be
get a
cool
little
to
wave.
have it like
They
just
then
where the
got
black
into
bit
the
is,
Teslas, which
looking
transported
straight
them
down.
up, like I said, about a half mile to the launch pad. Of course, they're physically fit; they could walk it, but we want to make sure they stay cool and comfortable. So these are the Teslas
Look at
arriving
that.
to the launch pad, and one of my oh, this is a great view here of the crew. Just look at that calm, that patience. I feel like if that were me, I would just be busting with excitement.
Yeah, well, they are.
And then they get out of the Teslas, and then
that'd be so
one of
cool.
my favorite moments for whenever we launch astronauts from
It's
Pad
gonna be the
39A
rocket
is
lane.
coming up. It's really. We should come up with it like this astronaut lean
Yeah.
back, something
Yeah,
where
it's the-
this excitement of seeing their spaceship for the first time on launch day. Of course, they have seen Dragon, they've seen Falcon before.
And now at this point, we can see crew walking down. There you can see Marcus Want and Alperi Zarace. They're giving a thumbs
Nice.
up. They are excited to be on this flight today, and we're excited to have them.
All right, so as we saw, actually that view right there, the crew, they are already in their chairs, they're strapped in.
So lucky.
They are still, the closeout team on the exterior, still working through the side hatch closure. But coming up next, we will
There
have,
they
actually, you
are.
can see that closeout team there. So this involves closing the hatch, inflating the seal around the hatch
See,
to
look,
make sure
one
that
day,
the pressure is good. And then
my
they hold that
name is
pressure
gonna
there to
be
make sure
somewhere
there's no
there.
decay or leaking
I'm gonna
from
make
that side
sure
hatch seal. Once
one
we get
day
confirmation that
my
that
name is
hatch
going to be
seal
written
good,
on this
we'll be
ball.
good to go.
It might be up here
After
somewhere,
that,
or right
we
down here
are
somewhere.
expecting a
My name's
post-ingress
gonna be
brief to
there.
occur.
I hope.
We'll also have crew access arm, which is where these individuals are standing right now. This is in the crew access arm. As the name suggests, this is what allows the crew to access the Dragon capsule side hatch there, as you see. So we're going to retract that away. Then we'll step into propellant loading, terminal count, and obviously the moment that we're all excitedly anticipating in just under 2 hours from now, liftoff. So with all of that, let's check in with Ronnie for a countdown status update.
Thanks, Kate. I'm Ronnie Farman, a commercial sales manager here at SpaceX. We are currently just about 1 hour and 57 minutes away from launch, and everything
I'm actually
looks
gonna
good
turn
for
my
an
heater
on-time
up a little
liftoff
bit,
later
guys.
today. As Kate mentioned, the crew did receive a weather briefing just after T-minus 4 hours. As we approach liftoff, our teams are tracking weather all along the ascent and recovery corridors, ensuring that Falcon 9 is ready for launch and that all possible recovery zones are available if needed. We're currently tracking roughly a 20% chance of weather violation today, and the main constraint we're looking at is ground weather at the launch site. We'll keep you posted throughout the countdown as we continue to monitor those environments. But at Pad 39A, which you've got a view of on your screen, our teams are hard at work, Falcon 9 is powered up, engine checkouts were performed overnight, and the pressurization of the gas storage tanks were completed earlier today, around T-minus 6 hours. Just a few minutes ago, Falcon began its final checks for launch, including a communication check with the crew, which should be coming up here shortly. At T-minus 45 minutes, our launch director will poll the team for propellant loading, and if we're go, propellant load will begin at T-minus 35 minutes. Now, as with all of our launches to the International Space Station, we have an instantaneous launch window, which today is at 4:49 p.m. Eastern. The reason we need a specific time is because Dragon is basically trying to catch up to the ISS, which as we speak is orbiting the Earth at roughly 17,500
I can actually tell you where
miles per
it is
hour.
right now.
That means we have to deliver Dragon to the correct orbit, and we also need to time its trajectory relative to the orbiting laboratory so that they're both in the same place in orbit at the same time. A precise liftoff is crucial for achieving that timely rendezvous between Dragon and the space station. If, of course, for any reason we're not able to launch today, our next opportunity will be at 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. That's the latest update for now, and I'll check in again as we get closer to liftoff. Back to you, Kate.
Thanks, Ronnie. Speaking of liftoff, let's take a closer look
Okay,
at the
for some
vehicles that will
reason,
be taking
it's
the
not
Ax-3 crew
showing
to
me.
the International Space Station today. At the very top of the vehicle is there at our Dragon spacecraft. This is where the crew is currently sitting and will spend their 32-hour flight to the International Space Station. This marks our 12th overall human spaceflight mission in the last 4 years, and in this time, Dragon has flown.
It's actually going to come over the top of me in a bit.
Plus the additional 4 NASA Crew 7 members that are still on orbit at the space station.
Yeah, it's actually going to go straight over the top of me.
Will be delivered to orbit today by the SpaceX Falcon
or has it
9
just
rocket,
come over the top of me?
1.7 million pounds of thrust there on its first stage, thanks to
let me just have
the
a quick
9
look.
Merlin M1D engines.
No, it is literally going to take come over the top of me in about.
Engines that power Falcon 9's first stage. Since taking
it's
flight
clear
in
skies as well, so I might
Falcon 9
actually be able
rocket
to
has
get a
made
clear
298 flights
shot.
And delivered all sorts of payloads to orbit.
So forecast when's it
After
saying
today's
for
launch,
me?
the first stage will return to SpaceX's landing zone 1 at Cape
it's saying
Canaveral
the
Space Force
19th.
Station, but you see a live view of
Why
that
is it
there
saying
on
the
the
19th?
right-hand side of your screen. It's about 9 miles as the crow flies from pad 39A. Fun fact,
hello?
this is actually the same landing zone where Falcon 9 made its first successful landing attempt back in 2015. So if it looks familiar, that's why.
Well, I don't think that's true.
Since then, we have continued to recover and refly our first stage boosters, performing 235
okay, that's a bit weird.
repeat flights in total. Below the Dragon is the Falcon 9 second stage. Its job today is to secure Dragon's entry into low Earth orbit before separating, leaving Dragon to continue its journey to the space station on its own thrusters. Reusability is the key to making spaceflight more routine and ultimately what will enable humans to become multiplanetary. Both the first stage booster and the Dragon spacecraft that you see there will be that are flying today. They're both flight proof. The first stage has supported 4 previous missions, while this Dragon capsule has supported 2 previous missions.
That's right, Kate. In fact, the Ax-2 crew that flew in May 2023 launched on this same first stage
Dragon
booster.
SpaceX, back with you with some good news. Good side hatch leak check.
Well, hey, that's what we like to hear.
Copy all. Thanks, Jake.
All right, good news there. We got confirmation that that leak check was good, so the side hatch is now closed.
Excellent.
And it will remain closed until the crew comes back to Earth in about 2 weeks.
Fantastic. All right, well, still looking at that view there. As we mentioned, the Ax-2 crew that flew in May 2023 launched on this exact same booster and flew the second flight of this Dragon capsule. So maybe when we get some views inside the cabin, we'll get to see an Ax-2 mission patch in there later.
Well, that'd be quite
As
cool.
for the maiden flight, that was with NASA's Crew 4, and as the first crew to fly in this capsule, they had the honor of naming it, which is pretty cool because once a spacecraft is named, it will continue to go by that name for all future flights. Anyway, they chose the name Freedom.
But anyway,
Crew 4 Commander Kjell Lindgren said that the name was chosen because it celebrates a fundamental human right and the industry and innovation that emanate from the unencumbered human spirit. The name also honors Freedom 7, which of course is the space capsule used by Alan Shepard's Mercury Redstone 3, the first U.S. human spaceflight mission, which took place on May 5th, 1961.
Yeah, Kate, I love that. On that note, right, with Alper on board, Turkey is taking their first step into human spaceflight on a capsule named after one that first carried the United States into space.
That's
it feels
pretty
like such
cool.
a poignant underscore to this historic event for the people of Turkey.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of Alper, let's talk about the training and that he and all the rest of the Ax-3 crew have completed in order to be prepared
Please
for
don't
this
open
mission.
on my main screen.
As you might imagine,
open on my main
astronaut
screen.
training is extensive, from the training that is specific to each crew member's role to learning SpaceX protocols, ISS systems, and preparing for the science and outreach activities that they'll be conducting in space. Private astronaut training is rigorous. Altogether, the Ax-3 crew spent about 35 days training inside Dragon.
That is
To prepare them
mad.
for flight, our teams at SpaceX spent the last several months teaching the crew about orbital mechanics and how to live in microgravity. We also used our Dragon training capsules to run simulations of ascent, ISS rendezvous, and reentry. The training program includes nearly 100 different
hopefully
lessons covering all aspects
that has got
of
rid
the
of my
flight.
bottom
The team also
bar.
spent time at the
It
launch
has.
pad,
Perfect.
in our suit-up room, and working through emergency
Right,
procedures.
I am
going to
move things around
quickly.
quickly.
Pad abort scenario.
Right, and beyond these efforts to get to and from station, this crew also spent months training for life on orbit.
Sub goal is
Living and
gonna
working in
move.
microgravity presents its own set of unique challenges, and skill-specific training flows and simulations help ensure that when crew crosses that hatch, that they're ready to maximize their time on orbit and accomplish their mission objectives. So not only did they need to be certified by instructors at NASA, JAXA, ESA, and Axiom Space, but they also needed to train with the Axiom Space operations team who will help them conduct
Right,
their on-orbit
there's that
events.
one.
Ultimately, this team supports crew 24/7 for their duration of their
Scrolling
mission.
text is going to be
In order to best
moved.
facilitate this level of coordination, Axiom Space has
Up to
leaned on the
here.
lessons learned of those who have flown before and built a team that is capable of tailoring a
And
mission to the
then
specific goals
view
of our
count
customers.
is going to
As we know,
go
every mission is unique. For Ax-3, the Italian Air
right
Force,
down here.
the Turkish Space Agency, and
Actually.
ESA each have their own specific mission objectives for their respective crew members, and together, we are ready to ensure that they meet those goals. Here's a look at what it takes
There we
to
go.
pull off all the training and rehearsals
I want to just
together
move
to
things
facilitate
around, make it a little bit
successful Axiom
nicer.
mission.
That looks pretty good.
The
I'm happy with
intention
that.
is to open access to space. What we're built for is to do that.
Suddenly,
Nice.
kids in Turkey might see the world differently. They might see
Oh,
the possibilities
my
of what they
wife
can
is
do with
back
their lives
home
differently
with.
because they see
I should be
their
getting
countrymen
chocolate in a minute.
offline in space.
We want to enable outreach events. We want to enable science. And part of that is having the support personnel on the ground to be there in real time, working with the astronauts as they go and execute those specific things.
So this is the Axiom
Lola.
Center, or we like to call it MCC.
Lola.
And this is built to
Coming in.
allow the Axiom
Come in.
controller team to execute private
Come in.
missions. We also give our customers the ability
Hello.
to follow along a mission by either providing them voice or video
And the
and
big
to
ball.
participate
Okay,
in the
that's
mission.
cool.
Crew starts about 8 months out from their mission. We do onboarding at Axiom to show them what our team's all about, introduce them to all the people
Oh,
on
man.
their journey.
Well, it's nice I got
And
something
then for the
different
next
anyway.
2 months, they go between
Thank you very
NASA
much.
training centers
What do you think? It's
and
actually clean?
JAXA and ESA and
Yeah.
our vehicle provider.
And look
It's
at
a
the
bit
roof.
of putting pedal to the metal immediately once they
It's
get
not done
here, and
perfect,
then they're
but
really
it's
shot from
it's
around.
done.
2, 1, and
Yeah, I know. I found it. It was on the floor. Thank you very much. Give me this.
We're looking at folks who have medical backgrounds that may
Love
not
you,
have been
Div.
flown in the past, which is quite a challenge for the
Mind
medical
that
team,
step,
but at
it's
the same
really
time, it's very
slippery.
satisfying.
The thing that drives
Bye,
me is
Lola.
knowing that maybe one day, based on some of the work that
Billy,
I'm
Lo.
doing, one of my kids can go to space, or any of these kids that are watching the launches.
The dog's come and join me
eyes
now.
wide,
Bye, good night.
maybe they have minor medical issues or major medical issues that
Bye.
they think right now precludes them from becoming an astronaut, and that might not be true in 5, 10, 15 years down the line.
Well, there you go. I've
We're
had a
actually in very
delivery.
exciting stage because we are
I'm very
dialing in
happy
and getting
now.
comfortable with our short duration missions. And now we're moving towards how do we live in space in our own Axiom module, and how do we eventually separate our own station?
Yeah, so they're
excited
going to
about the
basically
opportunity to
make
be
their
part of that.
own
And
space
we're
station.
excited about being able to really shape that, and I think Axiom Space is shaping how the global space community is getting space.
So cool.
You know, this really is truly a fascinating time for spaceflight. Kate, as you know, it takes a village to pull this kind of thing off. Nothing about human spaceflight is ever routine. It demands discipline, vigilance, competence, confidence, and ultimate responsibility. And we have a responsibility to our customers, our partners, and the world to demonstrate that we embody those values of human spaceflight, to show that this is what we do. And our mission is to enable and ensure
Right,
global
how
successful
am I
access to
going
LEO and beyond.
to...
At the end of the day, we want to say, the door's open. Come join the adventure. The Ax-3 mission and its crew represent another critical step along that path to opening up low Earth orbit. So
Right.
to get better acquainted
I
with our
need to
Ax-3
just
crew and
nick
the agencies they
a
represent, let's head over
Chrome
now to
tab.
Sonia McKay,
Come on.
Axiom Space's Director of Digital Strategy at the Kennedy Space Center. Sonia, you've had a chance to talk with teams from each of the European nations represented on board today. Is there a common theme in what they're anticipating for this mission?
What do I need?
Absolutely. Thanks, John. You can feel the excitement here at OSB2 with our special guests who had a hand in making this mission a success. Our partners are moments away from seeing our shared success in opening LEO to even more countries. We'll hear from representatives from each of our crew members' home nations in just a moment. But let's start with Walter Villaday. Walter has been part of Team Axiom Space for years, starting back as a backup crew member for AX2.
Joe, for a second then, I thought someone else was holding the microphone for her.
More from him on this moment in his career.
On the Air Force flag, we have 3 words: Virtute Siderum Tenus, with bravery to the stars. Those words still are in my head, especially now, because they were a really strong motivation to me to keep going.
So is that this guy?
The most difficult part is not become an astronaut, is being an astronaut. Is be patient and waiting your time. It's not the same for everyone. for our family. They've been along with me through all over this journey. It took almost 12 years to get to this point. After so many years of
I can
waiting,
now do a
really
poll.
see this opportunity, this mission as, hey, that you in the end really make it. I am Colonel Walter Villadei, Italian Air Force, Ax-3 pilot. The great opportunity was to join the Air Force when I was around 19 years old. Going to the Italian Air Force Academy was a kind of a turning point to me. I was the right person at the right moment in the right place, and I had the opportunity to become the first space engineer in the Air Force.
Walter's been at this for a long time. He did several rounds of training at the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center, and so he is no stranger
my
to
eyes.
I was deployed in Russia for 18 months just to go through the entire cosmonaut training. It's very interesting. It's a completely, I guess, a very unconventional path, but really fascinating.
Right. So, my my usual poll is in the chat. Check it out, guys. So obviously, I would like to see a perfect launch. But also, you gotta chuck in there, will it go boom? Because, you know, as long as the crew are fine, you know, we don't mind the rocket blowing up, but you never know. One day, we might actually get that boom.
It's not just a pure formal statement. I'm learning from all of them. I hope to bring, of course, some positive in this interpersonal relationship. The friendship with these guys, it's an amazing gift. I really hope that this mission can inspire the Italian young generation to look at space as an opportunity and to believe in their dreams.
Nice. That's quite a good little...
I'm joined now by Colonel Domenico Antonacci, who is here with the Italian Air Force Space General Office. Thank you so much for joining us. The relationship between Italy and Axiom Space goes so far. We've been partners for a long time. Thales Alenia Space is building our shells for the Axiom Station modules. Tell me a little bit about why this mission is happening now and what you're looking forward to in the success.
Yes, thank you. Very nice to be here.
It's nice to be here.
Has changed. The reason for what we access the space today is not the same that was in the past. As a Ministry of Defense in Italy, and especially the Italian Air Force, more than 15 years ago, we started to take care of what is the human space flight, especially we are the Italian Air Force involved in what is the research in space. So this process comes back from so a long time, and after that, a few years later, we did an agreement with the Italian Space Agency, and it was at that point that we were looking to, after the 2011 with the space shuttle retirement, we were looking at...
Hello, Rich. Nice to see you in the chat.
At that time proved to be,
do you reckon it's going to go boom?
Innovative today.
That's great
I
that you're
don't. One person has put yes, and two people have put no.
The Italian goals, the Ministry of Defense, so the Air Force are the same as the government goals. What we do
going wrong with yeah, it's not going to go boom. Not at all.
Is one of our priority, as you know.
Isolation
as a big part of the experiments are brought by Italy. Also, what we are trying to do here is to having the defense in this particular case leading not only
I actually spelled my name right,
to give them an opportunity to be part of the space economy,
easy,
but also
other what are you playing, Rich?
So with us, for example,
that was actually
Italian Space Agency is our big partner for research. And not only that, also very small business and the largest business.
Why am I not
research and the portfolio the research portfolio that the Italians are doing that Walter is focused on for this mission is so impressive. What
Need
does
for
it mean
Speed.
for the research
Nice on PS2. Fair play.
14-day mission?
Oh, Most Wanted.
It's not easy to take
nice.
To space.
Fair play.
So we are really proud to give the opportunity.
I take it you got a cable for your controller, or did you actually buy a whole new controller in the end?
And it's not only in this case the Ministry of Defense. Walter for sure is
an
Air Force guy, so
what the
he's
hell?
in the Ministry of Defense. With us, a lot of other government agencies have been working with
Why
us.
is this?
All together for the
Oh, there you go. Okay, my chat wasn't working properly.
Let me mention
got a new controller, but playing the PS2 version on the PS3. Ah, fair play. Nice. I have to say, I kind of want to do some retro gaming, some like even like old PS3 games.
And like
but
I
I just can't be bothered to deal with the setup of like especially streaming.
That's wonderful, and he, Walter brings that focus
got my
of
stand
pilots
goal.
now to the research that he's going to.
But
be
yeah, I
doing
just
in
can't be
low
bothered
Earth
to
orbit.
set it up for like a
Congratulations on
stream.
this milestone
It's just
in
too
your
much
history,
to deal with.
The years of the Italian Air Force. This is an exciting time. Thank you for being
Right,
here.
so
Thank
we
you to the
have
entire Italian contingent.
75% of people are saying no, so
we'll be really celebrating.
Thank you.
Only one person has voted yes.
Thank you so much. Stay right there. We're going to
and
now turn over
I
to
mean,
meet
fair play to you if that's what you
Marcus's
think.
team, our next crew member to highlight.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing
in history. You
a
can
boom.
see how Marcus was selected.
As I
for
said,
this
as long
mission.
as the
He
crew are
doesn't do
okay.
anything halfway. When he goes after something, he's all in. And right now, his sights are set on space.
Oh, here we go.
Complex or high-risk flight test, I always visualize getting in there, starting up the engine, taxiing out, getting the thrust going, holding the brakes,
Do you know what?
releasing.
I think
feeling
maybe
acceleration,
one day.
lift off. This time that will be the same. Going into the Dragon capsule, sitting there, having all that force working and pushing us away from Earth up into space. It's going to be a very strong feeling, I believe. That's something I'm gonna
it's going to be crazy.
That's going to be awesome.
I'm just going to turn my microphone down because I'm opening a pack of chocolate.
His persona. Marcus is very technically competent, and he has great interpersonal skills.
He went to the U.S. Naval Test Pilot School, finished first in his class, which is not something I could say.
He's a wonderful guy, so joyful, so extrovert.
I'm so happy to have him as my counterpart. Marcus is just like a brother to me.
On top of that, Marcus is a fellow Scandinavian, which already qualifies him in my book.
Doing my time in the army and going to university, studying to become an engineer, I figured that if I'm going to do it, that why not do it full out? When I start doing something, I build a very big interest of what I'm doing, and I kind of become passionate about it. I guess the thoughts about being an astronaut has been there on and off. As many dreams, I just figured it required an extreme amount of luck.
Oh,
European Space Agency needed new astronauts. That does not happen very often. Luckily, my wife saw this ad where they called for astronauts. I saw that a couple of 100,000 people had looked at that page, so okay, this is highly unlikely or nearly impossible, but not impossible, so why not? And then I applied, and it turned out that it worked out.
Marcus is one of ESA's new project astronauts, which means that he's been hired to take advantage of these new exciting opportunities that commercial spaceflight offers us.
My ESA mission is Moonin. That's one of Odin, the Viking gods, two ravens. Odin sent them out to fly around the world and gather and bring back knowledge. The other raven is Hugin. That is the name of Andy Mogus's mission, being up in space right now. So now Moonin will fly up, meet Hugin, and will together orbit Earth and get that knowledge back. The idea of a project astronaut and being a part of pioneering that, together with Sweden and then ESA, together with Axiom, making this possible, opening up that way of accessing space for Europe. Sweden is in there helping to make that happen, and that makes me proud.
I got a question though. what research are they actually doing? Like, what experiments are they doing up there?
I'm joined now by Daniel Neunschwander, Director of Human and Robotic Programs for ESA. Welcome.
And wait, what's her last name? Oh, his last name?
In Swedish history and ESA history, ESA just launched this reserve astronaut
That sounds
program.
like
Tell us why that was
something you
that
say when you're
augmented your
drunk.
programming with, and what it's done for the success of ESA.
So, good afternoon to all. First, these reserve astronauts are in fact talents which are set in a pool who have been selected out of over 22,000 applications. And when the opportunity arises,
22,000.
they can become
Wow.
project astronauts, as Marcus today. And I'm really excited because it allows us to do more space activities. It allows us to serve ultimately more member states of the European Space Agency.
So as a reserve astronaut, Marcus had like a 2-year window, right? This is very fast to be going up into space. What was that timeline like for ESA and for Marcus?
So first, let's recall he has been selected
They
in
got a Starship
November
Tower
2022.
in the back
We
there.
are now in January 24.
It hasn't even been 2 years,
Kennedy
right?
Space Center. It's 1 year and 3 months.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. I think it shows that we can really be fast. We can really be fast when we want. I should also thank all the actors who made it happen because it really required an alignment of the planets, literally. Let me first start by thanking Sweden, who took the decision to finance this mission. Let me thank industry, who made it happen, Axiom notably, but ultimately also my team, because there is also a big scientific program behind the mission of Marcus.
Yes.
And his training for him. And it was a game changer, and I'm happy to be here today.
Well, let's talk about that game-changing research. He has 14 days on this mission, very aggressive portfolio that he's going to be chasing to make sure that he's doing all that. Tell us some about those goals, some of those projects he's working on, and what ESA's looking forward to when he comes back.
So first and above all, our main objective is to bring forward science, very clearly. We have multiple disciplines here. It starts, for example, with bone health, to give you one example. It goes then over to technology demonstrators. So we really cover our different disciplines: human physiology, biology.
So that's it. So that's what I wanted to know. What were they actually wanting to get out of these experiments?
Over 20 experiments, which will be done in less than
14
days. So that's really amazing. And on top of that, let's also not forget the second objective, which is about education, which is about outreach. And Marcus will do here a great job.
And Marcus has such enthusiasm and such energy. So, of course, people who are going to be tuning in for that educational outreach will be, of course, inspired by his journey and by the work that you're all doing. What is the next step for ESA? Where are you going next in this private astronaut missions and commercial projects?
So first above all, Marcus is already inspirational for all our colleagues.
The weather doesn't look actually that nice in Florida, does it, guys?
And he will, of course, touch much
It actually
more
looks a bit grey.
And can share with us his real experience in space. That's really the big difference. And then in terms of commercial activities, we are really steeping
or is it $3:15?
Significantly our work at the European
3,
Space
4,
Agency.
5,
we have
6,
commercial programs nearly in
7.
all domains we work today. In exploration, we definitely want to have
It's
more
about
commercial actors.
2:15,
when it comes
3:15.
also to our
No,
transport
it is
delivery
3:15.
missions. We want to have more commercial actors when it comes also to
The launch is at 4:49.
And in this context, we will also have more project astronauts in the future, and I'm happy to come back here to Kennedy Space Center.
So we're excited for Hugin and Moonen, who are going to be joined together out in low Earth orbit on the ISS. Thank you so much to ESA for being such a wonderful partner with Axiom Space, doing wonderful work together. I hope that this is the start of a wonderful relationship that we take into the future.
Thank you. Looking forward.
We have some more crew members to introduce you to. Our next crew member is from the country of Turkey. We want to highlight the ambitions of this mission and the future in space for the country of Turkey. Here's more on Alper's inspired and
Why is it
unexpected
pronounced
adventure
Turkey?
leading to low Earth orbit.
When I was 5 years old or 6 years old, I was in our village. I was next to my grandmother. When I first saw an airplane, I immediately told her, I want to be the driver of that plane. I have always been amused with the feeling of being able to do any kind of maneuver in the sky with wings. The most that I could make it so far was 51,000 feet. I'm really wondering how I'm gonna feel like when I look at the blue earth with my bare eyes. It is gonna be an amazing feeling being able to fly in a space without any wings. Space has never been a part of my dreams, ever. Because as a country, we were completely out of this field. So when it comes to space, when I saw it in the documentaries or the movies, I would always immediately encourage myself, hey, that dream belongs to other nations.
10. ve son hedefimiz. Evet, bir Türk vatandaşını uzaya göndermektir.
In the middle of the night, I'm coming back from an operational flight and I see the news. It is our president announcing their monumental decision to send the very first Turkish person into the space on our centennial history. For a country like Turkey, it's important. That is just opening a curtain which has always been blocking the dreams of our children.
Nice.
And from that moment on, I started to think about it seriously. It was a really long, rigorous process that we went through.
Oh, I'd love to go on the G simulator. Oh,
it felt great. It felt amazing.
I think honestly, if I was to go be an astronaut, I think I'd be a hell of a lot fitter just from the training.
Very thorough.
He's very humble, but he's very
I would give up
precise,
chocolate.
Very, very unique person.
To be an astronaut.
Even though we come from very different cultures,
even just
our
one day
backgrounds
up there.
are similar, so our common language was easy to find.
My name is not important. The important thing for the people is to remember that their country has been determined enough to be able to step into the future. To be able to dream, not to the limits of the sky, but deep into space.
Nice.
I'm joined now by Mehmet Fatih Kajur, the Republic of Turkey's Minister of Industry and Technology.
I think she
It has
just
been
butchered
an absolute
that.
pleasure to work with your country and with Alper. He is inspiring, he's poetic. Tell us about this mission and what it means for all of the country of Turkey.
Actually, this is a very historic and proud moment for our country, and it's also a testament to our nation's advancement in science and technology. It's the first manned space mission of our country, and I think that this is not only a significant milestone in the history of our country, but also a very strong source
I like his little
of inspiration
turkey
for Turkish children
badge.
and youth.
That's quite cool.
Now, the country of Turkey has been involved in human spaceflight in the research category for over 30 years. You've been doing all this aggressive research in space and low Earth orbit. Tell me about the research that Alper is going to be continuing and what kind of portfolio of opportunities that you're going to be working on over the next 14 days.
Actually, as Turkey, we are very experienced in space technologies. We are developing and manufacturing our own satellites, our own observation, and also communication satellites. And also we can develop and produce the rockets to reach the space. But when it comes to manned space missions, it's now the very first time for us. And this mission will be also a scientific mission. Alper Gezeravcı will conduct 13 different scientific experiments at ISS. All experiments are prepared by Turkish scientists, and we think that those scientific experiments will serve the scientific literature in the world. And some of them are on biology and genetics, and some of them are also on material science, but all of them are very innovative, and we will wait for the results of those scientific studies very soon.
That's the wonderful thing about these short duration missions, is that research comes back immediately for all the data to be processed. We're going to be talking a little bit more with Lucy Lowe, our chief scientist, in a couple of minutes about the entire portfolio of this mission. It's exciting work, and I can't wait to get into it. So you talked a little bit about the 30-year history. We talked about the research that's been ongoing. Talk to me about what the future of human space exploration looks like for the country of Turkey.
Actually, as Turkey, we are...
I love how he uses actually quite a bit.
We are working on the National Space Program, and we have very assertive targets for next 10 years on space technologies. This is a manned space mission, but we also have some unmanned space missions. We aim to reach the moon with a space system developed and again manufactured by Turkish scientists and engineers. And after this mission, we will send the second Turkish astronaut for a suborbit flight, and then we hope that we will have many different manned missions next year.
Well, you're doing wonderful work. You've accomplished so much. It's been a pleasure to have you, Alper, the entire country along with us. I cannot wait for this historic moment for all of these wonderful countries and partners. Thank you so much, and go Ax-3 and go to the country of Turkey. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and we thank you all and all partners in this historic mission.
Indeed, indeed. We have one more crew member to introduce you to, and that is our commander. Michael Lopez Alegria is the commander of this historic Ax-3 spaceflight mission. He is an icon, and we are proud to have him leading the way.
I feel truly blessed and lucky to have had this career path.
Oh, space shuttle.
This is somebody who
I missed the shuttle.
To play at the major league level 20 years after retirement. It is still the most uncomparable experience you can imagine. In fact, difficult to imagine.
Michael Lopez Alegria was born in Madrid, Spain, grew up in California, and has been a naval aviator since 1981.
I already knew about Mike since he was one of the most experienced and ever flown astronauts in NASA.
Being super experienced, still being humble and very keyed in on listening on what the crew needs.
To fly with him, and even more important, to learn from him.
It would be like such an honor, you know someone that's worked so hard, and you're now going to be part of his team.
It's a privilege to have the most experienced person of NASA and its history to be leading in our mission.
That is pretty mad.
3, 2, 1. Ignition. Stop. Good Falcon, good Dragon. Godspeed, Axiom 1.
I think it's my duty to try to warn them about what it's going to feel like, especially physiologically, because I want them to be prepared for that. But as far as the experience goes, I just want them to have it. To soak it up and let it go through their pores and feel what it's like. The Ax-3 guys are super solid.
That is very cool.
Alongside them, we're learning together as a crew. I want them to feel like we're all in this together. I think we're constantly redefining access to low Earth orbit, and we do that by opening the door to individuals, but also to nations. Nations who, like Turkey, have never had an astronaut in their history.
Very
These are
cool.
Important steps. They're great milestones in really opening the aperture to allow more people, more researchers, more institutions have access to space.
Actually, I wonder how many
I'm
countries
Michael Lopez Alegria, and I am commander
have
of
actually had a
Ax-3.
man in space. How many countries have had men in space?
The AX-3 crew has been a pleasure to support. It's been an inspiring journey to watch as Michael Lopez Alegria's leadership really kicked in with this crew as they learn together. And I think
46 countries.
Are really,
so
I want to
after
thank them
today's
for
launch, we'll make it to
more about
47.
each of the astronauts and their countries
47,
and their
yeah,
missions
47.
over the last couple of minutes. From the whole Axiom space team, we send our own well wishes. Go Ax-3. Ronnie, back to you.
Nice.
We are currently T-minus 1 hour and 21 minutes away from launch as the Ax-3 crew awaits its 4:49 p.m. Eastern liftoff from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center. Right now, the all-European crew is safely inside the Dragon capsule, and the side hatch was closed for flight at around T-minus 2 hours and 19 minutes. As we heard a few minutes ago, we've already gotten that good call out that the hatch leak check was successfully completed.
That is cool.
We're standing by right now for a post-ingress crew briefing.
God, oh look at the Starship Tower just behind it. It's just like, guys, do you remember I'm still here?
The good news is that weather continues to be go for launch and any contingencies.
It looked really grey.
Our closeout crew is doing final preparations.
Like it does look quite grey over there.
Our launch director will pull the team for propellant load. Just a few minutes later, the crew arm.
I've been along this road just down here. I've been all the way along this road.
The launch escape system will be armed.
I've done the VIP Kennedy Space Center
so far,
tour.
It has been a smooth countdown, and everything is on track for an on-time liftoff. A little bit more than an hour from now. With that update, I'll hand it back to you, John.
Thanks a lot, Ronnie. Okay, as we watched the video earlier and we heard, this mission really represents three.
Do you know what? I think SpaceX deliberately put this here. Oh, actually, you guys can't see it now. Yep, so have you, Rich. Yep, so have you.
Honestly, I don't think missions like this ever get old for me.
I love it.
I mean, how can they? Every crew is a different team, and every team.
Yeah, I think they deliberately put the Starship Tower.
You know, people were four strangers
which
come
actually,
together in such a close-knit, really
you guys can see it there. So,
yeah,
I think they deliberately put the Starship Tower where it is
that's what's really appealing about this and inspiring
to, like whenever they do a Falcon 9 rocket, there's always this shot. There's always people seeing the Starship Tower, so they talk about it.
Just what all this preparation has been for.
It looks like the second tower might be happening down at Boca Chica soon. They've built more in Kennedy, and then they've shipped it out to Boca, which I think the first two have turned up.
To be successful, that entire effort requires an army of dedicated and talented team members. For organizations considering a research study in microgravity, or for entities looking to demonstrate a new capability off-planet, Axiom Space is built to do just that.
Nice.
We're a company that's focused not just on flying people, but really creating the markets, creating the products, creating the services, creating the reasons to be in space. And when you provide that access, you say, what is it that you need in space? We can help you get that.
Axiom's objective is to increase access to countries and people and investigators to go to orbit. We want to have more folks interested in commercializing space, to actually use it as a
What did he just have on? Did he have a Meta Quest VR headset?
We can do all the
I swear he literally had a Meta Quest headset on.
We can do the integration for those payloads, which means that you get all of the hardware and the software and the crew
It is a Meta Quest headset.
Together, we can do the cargo services where you pack everything in kits so that when the crew opens them on orbit, they have everything they need for a certain project.
We have some amazing partners that we're working with. National Stem Cell Foundation is actually doing research on Parkinson's and MS. The Sanford Stem Cell Institute is doing tumor organoid research.
See, this is what I wanted to know, what they're actually doing.
Concept studies provides an opportunity for us to help people see science from a completely different perspective and to really do things.
That little girl had a finger over the
camera.
camera.
As much science as we possibly can out of each one of these missions. These are the differences that we're seeing with commercial space stations and private
Right, I need to put my watch on charge. It is on
commercial markets in low Earth orbit.
3%.
Really expanding the
I might as well charge it now before the stream.
are doing it now. We are operating.
I have, guys. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you. No, I'm not. Oh. I have a little astronaut holder. He's got his hands out like that, and the Apple Watch charger is in the middle of that. It's so cool.
And it should be a diverse ecosystem just like it is on Earth today.
Nice.
Of course, a significant amount of the research and experiments performed in orbit need to be brought back, as Dragon is the only spacecraft currently flying that is capable of returning significant amounts of cargo to Earth.
Significantly.
Whether it's returning time-sensitive experiments
I can't even
from
say it
ISS
now.
or bringing back science performed
Significantly.
inside the spacecraft while on orbit, Dragon safely returns it home. While docked with the ISS, Dragon can also act as a lab, providing extra room for astronauts to perform their work.
Nice.
And when the ISS is fully booked, Dragon even serves as an extra bedroom when necessary. In fact, NASA astronaut Mike Hopkins, as you see there, adding his name, his signature to the patch, commander of the Crew 1 mission, he slept inside Dragon Resilience during his entire 6-month stay aboard the station. Look at that view. Imagine having that every night from Dragon's cockpit right before bed. Dragon can also serve as a laboratory while orbiting the Earth. During the Inspiration 4 mission in 2021, which was the world's first all-civilian mission to orbit, the crew conducted research while traveling weightless at over 17,000 miles per hour.
Jeez.
On the Inspiration 4 mission, Crew Dragon's cargo capacity was allocated for both crew essentials as well as scientific equipment dedicated to microgravity research and experiments. And the Dragon research continues long after Dragon splashes down. The data and biological samples collected from
No, they're saying it wrong. It's data.
Before, during,
it's
and
data.
after the mission, that will all be accessible through
I don't know why,
an open
but
data
that's been stuck in my head all day.
biobank,
Data.
and that can be accessed for research purposes. While Dragon is responsible for delivering sensitive research and samples,
Preparing
that's just part of
for
the story.
LES.
For this mission, Dragon is also carrying something for the right-brained hemisphere of the brain.
Yeah, I love that, Kate. You know, it's really easy for us to make this connection between
I
STEM
really
and
wish
space
like we
flight.
could get a
Over the last year, we've been
HD
seeing a shift, right,
version of
from
this.
just STEM to also STEAM. And that includes the arts.
Love
Putting
to
more
see it.
emphasis on those things that are so human. So today's teachers, you know, they have to teach the values of both the importance of arts and engineering. Because arts will
Right,
always
guys,
have a place in
while everyone's here, just want to say thank you very much for joining me. And oh, we're about to have a crew access arm retraction. But what I want to say is, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm doing loads more streams. I've got loads more KSB2 content coming up. I've also got hopefully a tour of the man cave once I get it all tidied up from doing my roof insulation. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. That would be really nice. Yeah, we're on our way to 1,000 subs. We're getting quite close now. So
Dragon and Falcon systems continue to look healthy, and vehicles are ready for a launch attempt today. Weather continues to look great, and we'll keep you updated if anything changes. How copy so far?
nice. And also get your votes into the poll. Obviously, we hope the astronauts will be fine. Just the booster explodes and they jet off. That'll be fine.
On orbit. That's the phase burn at 22:33 Zulu. I have some info you might want to record. Report ready to copy.
Oh, I can't put things on there.
Ready to copy. Okay. For your awareness, we have a TDRS gap starting at 2225. That's 11 minutes before the phase burn, and it ends at the same time the burn ends. That's
What does Zulu mean?
The impact is that we in Hawthorne will not have live data or comms during the burn.
What?
That said, pending successful on-orbit Draco checkouts, we will be taking the burn and will rely on onboard vehicle
What does
automation to
Zulu
hold the burn
mean
if
in
necessary.
time?
After the burn, we'll get a data dump and catch back up with the vehicle.
Military. It's military time.
To not have data
UTC.
during the burn, but I'm letting you know. How copy?
There you go. So they use UTC.
Okay, give us a minute here, Jake.
Give us here a minute,
Sure thing,
Chink.
and let me know if you'd like any of that repeated.
I still can't believe they literally have like iPads strapped to their legs, so you can actually see the iPad right there, strapped to his leg, and he's just writing it down with a pen.
Hey Jake, we all copied the what you've read. I think the only question is we had a little confusion on your math, or maybe it's our math, but the burn start is 22:33. The LOS is 22:25 to 22:42. I thought you said 11 minutes, but either way, we'll come AOS around the end of the burn. You guys will get the data, and then we'll talk about any delta strike.
Ooh, okay, a bit of math going off.
Okay, I understand the confusion. I called burn start 22:33. It is actually 22:36. That's my mistake. And
wow,
explains the 11-minute gap then between 25 and 36.
That's why you need people really focused.
Yep, all clear now. Thanks.
Because something like that could easily
That's all I had.
go
Any
wrong.
questions from the crew here for the team in Hawthorne?
That's crazy, actually. That really shows you how, like, they're not just sitting there, you know, gonna ride this thing. There's things that actually they need to, you know, check over and stuff like that before flight. If they hadn't have alerted that, then possibly the burn would have been, you know, they would have thought something else was going on and called emergency.
All right, so that was the post-ingress crew briefing. That's the opportunity
That was very
for SpaceX Core, which is the crew operations and resource engineer, to relay any important information to the crew, as you see seated inside Dragon Freedom. We do this every launch, and that was actually a great example of why we do this
There you
and
go.
like, the structure of those briefs and communication. So
RP1 bleed has started.
Jake Vendel, the SpaceX Core today basically was saying really good news. Everything is looking healthy on both vehicles, Falcon 9 and Dragon, and the weather looks great. Like, that is music to our ears on launch day.
There's
He
always
also
music.
gave the crew an update on the timeline regarding an expected loss of signal right around the phase burn, which is one of the burns that Dragon performs in order to reach the International Space Station. And you heard Forrest say how copy, and then crew basically processed that information and said, wait a minute, we have a question. And so I thought that was a really good example of why
Wow.
we do
He's
what we do
watching
whenever we have these back and
from a
forth,
camera
because
over
sometimes
here.
something gets misread,
There wasn't much
or,
delay in that.
something is not understood, and it's absolutely critical that we have clear communication to make sure that everybody is on the same page and is expected. So all in all, really good post-ingress brief. Like I
Mate,
said,
I
all
would just
music
love to
our
go in
ears.
one of
So
these.
everything is looking good for our liftoff in just under 1 hour and let's see, we're looking at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 45 seconds.
That's a perfect recap, Kate. You know, for something like that, that really emphasizes how we're going to get into the future together, into low Earth orbit and beyond, right? So for Axiom Space,
That's
our
good.
future is Axiom Station. In the last few years, our team has grown from a few hundred engineers to now over 1,000. Our designs have gone
Jeez.
from concept to mock-ups to the machining of flight hardware. So here's how our future is taking shape.
They're actually making flight hardware now. Oh,
There's sort of two
nice.
philosophies in aerospace. One is you sit around and you think about requirements and you think about what you want to build, or you build something, you test it, you figure out what works, you build another generation. We really believe at Axiom Space, the path to building something that doesn't exist in the world is you've got to start building prototypes. We sit and think about what we want to build for a little bit, but then we just go.
Oh,
build
that
the
looks
thing,
so
test the
cool.
thing, fire the engine.
So
Our role
cool.
really is to lead
Man. That
A year
looks so
ago,
cool.
walking into this facility, you didn't see nearly as much hardware as you see today. Full-scale mock-ups, training hardware, flight hardware. Axiom was created to build a space
Was that like a
station.
Raspberry
That's
Pi
exactly what this team is doing.
with Ethernet ports on it?
We're still on target to launch our first module the end of 26. The pressure vessel
26.
is undergoing welding at Talassolenia, our partner in Italy. There's some of the largest forgings in the world. There's only a couple places in Europe that could even forge some of the pieces.
Wow.
The pressure vessel will arrive in
What's it
Houston,
going on?
and then we'll do all the final outfitting at our spaceport facility. And in the 50-year history of human spaceflight in Houston, it will be the first human-rated spacecraft ever built in Houston.
That's mad.
Our teams are building all the other things. The life support system, the guidance and navigation, we're building our own propulsion system. Our philosophy is to keep as much engineering in-house as possible. It allows us to have long expertise over a long time because we want to be building modules and adding to our space station for years and years.
So it's going to have onboard thrusters to obviously keep
Our
it
station, we will open
in
up
orbit.
low Earth orbit to the world to explore, to travel, to complete science in space and beyond.
Microgravity represents this enormous natural resource, and we think there are things that we can do there that lead to medical breakthroughs, material breakthroughs.
And wait,
leads to a
someone
better
else,
world for everyone.
someone else has said yes, it's going to blow up.
Highest quality of parts, materials, biological media, in environment
That's
that
mad.
is nearly pristine.
Behind this is the Earth Observatory. We will fly it as part of the third module that goes
Oh,
to
that
the
looks
International
so
Space Station.
cool.
And then the International Space Station robot arm will actually move it and position it underneath HAB-1, so it will have this fantastic view of the Earth through the largest
Dude,
space
that'd be
windows ever
sick.
attempted.
This is as close as you can get to actually doing an EVA in space. We talk about the overview effect, where crews come back and see the world in a different sense than they did before. And I think this is where you can really contemplate that whole experience. Ax-3 is one of those learning opportunities for a multinational crew to work together in space. This is exactly how we envision Axiom Station to operate, where you have people from all over the world experiencing life as a community in space.
Every morning when I walk into this building, I'm inspired by the work this team is completing. It's just a wonderful feeling seeing so many people excited about the prospect of launching the first commercial space station.
Oh,
If
it's
we're
going to be
to
so
make a
cool.
Sustainable presence outside of the Earth biome. This is how we have to do it.
Axiom Space is a continuation of a human need to explore and to move humans into the cosmos.
That is mental. That is absolutely mental. So I wonder what that would be flying on. I mean, it could go on a Falcon 9. Depending on the weight, it might have to be a Falcon Heavy. I really want to do some research and quickly try and find out who they're going up on. But all
For
they...
those of you that have recently tuned into our webcast, we are now 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 45 seconds away from the launch of the Axiom 3 crew to the International Space Station. Joining us now from ISS Flight Control Room at NASA's Johnson Space Center is Courtney Beasley. Welcome, Courtney.
Oh, actually, where is the ISS now?
Joining you guys today, and we are looking forward to launch from Mission Control Houston.
It's literally just flying past Florida now.
Today, we're happy to be together in this room and talk about this crew. Ax-3 is the first, all European crew. This is a historic flight for them. It's a historic flight for Axiom and NASA and SpaceX. This is an incredible group. They've worked diligently, both individually and together, to get to this moment. They're representing across the four of them 5 different nations. As mentioned, they've trained extensively as a team, but now they're ready to be a part of that effective and contributing ISS team.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, Michael Lopez Alegria is the first repeat flyer in the Dragon program history, which...
SpaceX Dragon for cabin 10.
Dragon SpaceX, I think that was for cabin fan. Go ahead.
Actually, Jake, it was for cabin temp, and we're feeling just a little bit on the cool side here, wondering what the options are for warming it up.
Oh, we're getting a little bit chilly.
Copy. Understood. We'll take a look at it.
Okay, so I have
All right, some
got
quick back and forth there with the crew and SpaceX core, basically just asking to if there's any options to warm up the cabin. They're a little cool. As I was saying, MLA, our commander today, he is our first repeat flyer in the history of the Dragon program, which I guess means that we have to make a frequent flyer member club of some sort.
I think you need to give him a punch card for this, and he's no stranger to Dragon, as we're going to look at now. So the voice you heard there, like Kate just mentioned, Michael Lopez Alegria, or MLA, who is no stranger to human spaceflight. He's actually a dual citizen of the United States and Spain, and Ax-3 marks his 6th mission to space.
Right, I'm actually just going to quickly go and put a ladder on the shed because I want to try and catch the ISS as we go past. So I will be right back.
Time spent conducting spacewalks. In 2020, he was inducted into the U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame, and today, when he's not in low Earth orbit, MLA serves as Axiom Space's chief astronaut.
Our pilot on today's flight, Walter Villade, is from the Italian Air Force and is taking his inaugural trip to low Earth orbit. Villade currently serves in the Italian Air Force and as head of the Italian Air Force's representative office in the United States. He has completed cosmonaut training as a space engineer, participated in multiple analog training.
SpaceX, for a different topic, we are about to send a command to cycle the orbit tank ISO valves to equalize low flow pressure. You should hear it. How copy?
Okay, we copy. We're standing by.
All right, just notification there to the crew.
And Dragon, I've got an update on the cabin temp, and it's not necessarily favorable. There's not much we can do at this point from the ground, especially anticipating the heating that will incur during ascent. I'd like to assess if this is something you think you can ride out for another hour here.
Absolutely, Jake. Just wanted to ask, but we understand what the priority is here.
Copy, Dragon. Yeah, appreciate you asking. Sorry we can't do more in this situation.
Back to Walter. He has completed cosmonaut training as a space engineer, participated in multiple analog training missions, and flown a variety of aircraft and missions as an active flight engineer in the Italian Air Force. This mission is significant for Italy in that it commemorates the 100th years
out there, guys.
of the Italian Air Force.
Now, our third crew member for today's mission is Mission Specialist Alper Izarace. Through this mission, Alper becomes the first Turkish astronaut to go to space. With 15 years of experience across a myriad of aircraft,
it is gorgeously clear skies out there. It is currently -2. So yeah, it is very, very cold. In here, it is.
In the Turkish Air Force. This mission also marks the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Republic of Turkey.
And finally, we have Mission Specialist Marcus Want, a lieutenant colonel in the Swedish Air Force who flew 9 years as a pilot
in here, so
from the U.S. Navy Test Pilot School.
Our installation is starting to
In
work.
November of 2022, Marcus was selected by the European Space Agency as an astronaut reserve. However, with this
It's a little
mission,
bit chilly.
Ax-3, he becomes the first project astronaut in ESA's history, a new designation within their ranks. In just a few short hours, he'll be only the second ESA astronaut of Swedish nationality to ever go to the International Space Station, a milestone marked in a year of jubilee as the 500th anniversary of the founding of the country of Sweden. So, that is the Ax-3 crew. We are now under an hour until liftoff. We're at T-minus 58 minutes and 10 seconds, and they're going to be heading to the International Space Station.
1937 it is saying. So in about
All right, and
45
with that,
minutes.
Let's check in with NASA's Courtney Beasley.
Thanks, Kate. I'm here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room at NASA's Johnson Space Center.
Actually,
where
what's the
teams
date
staff
today?
this room around
18th.
the clock to monitor the crew and systems aboard the orbiting laboratory. And today, they're ensuring that the station is ready to receive Dragon and the Ax-3 crew. Since NASA opened up the space station for commercial activity in 2019, the agency has continued to work with private industry to prepare for the future of low Earth orbit. Now, NASA's long-term goal goal is to no longer be a provider of low Earth orbit destination, but to be a customer, one of many, purchasing commercially owned and operated services. To ensure this path of tomorrow, we have to work together today. Enabling private astronaut missions on board the space station helps us to refine and mature the processes needed for the future, with NASA astronauts working side by side with private and national astronauts in a new age of science and discovery. And we take this next step together as we continue counting down to launch the Ax-3 crew to the International Space Station. Now, it's an incredibly busy time in low Earth orbit and beyond, and NASA wants to scout the moon before returning astronauts. So next month, it will send several science experiments aboard Intuitive Machines' Nova C
What day are
lander,
we?
which will launch on a
Thursday.
Falcon 9 rocket.
7:25 p.m. There we go. It's visible for
NASA is
1
working
minute.
with several American companies to deliver science and technology instruments to the moon through CLIPS, the agency's
West,
Commercial Lunar
southwest.
Payload Services Initiative. One of the companies is
West,
Intuitive Machines, which
southwest,
developed
so it's
and
gonna
built
be-
the Nova C lander.
I'm
Nova
trying to
C
think.
has
North is
6
directly
NASA
that way.
experiments studying things like how
East,
sunlight charges the lunar atmosphere
south.
and how dust
So it's going to
and
be
gas
over that
particles
way,
will
and
be
it's going to
affected
come
by the
over
spacecraft's landing on the moon's
straight
south
across.
pole.
Nice.
Its arrival on the moon would be the first robotic landing for the U.S. since the end of the Apollo program in 1972. CLIPS will help NASA understand the moon's environment and available resources ahead of crewed Artemis missions. The program will land the first woman and the first person of color on the lunar surface, and then eventually send astronauts to Mars. That's your Artemis Moon Minute.
That's your Artemis Moon Minute.
Nova C is expected to touch down on the moon next month, and you can watch live coverage of the historic landing on NASA TV and NASA Plus. Now let's check back in with John and Kate in Hawthorne.
Why is it not?
Thank you so much, Courtney. You know, it's such an exciting future we have to look forward to, and it doesn't really feel that far off. You know, every day behind us, all over the country, back in Houston, there's work happening to bring about this vision.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Even
nice.
as
There we
speak,
go.
SpaceX teams are preparing for our upcoming launch of the Intuitive Machines Nova C lunar lander, known as the IM-1 mission. This will be the first SpaceX-provided launch of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services Initiative, a key part of NASA's Artemis lunar exploration efforts. And down at Starbase Texas, we're continuing to build, test, and fly Starship, the world's most powerful launch vehicle ever developed.
Yes.
It's a fully reusable transportation system that will transform how we access space because it's designed to carry a massive amount of cargo and large numbers of people to Earth orbit, the Moon, Mars, and beyond. We completed 2 flight tests last year, one of them you see here on your screen now, and 2024 is lining up to see even more Starships take flight.
Come on, how
We're
many?
still in the testing phase, but things like flying rapidly, full system reuse, and on-orbit refilling will be key to building and staffing a viable moon base. And right now, we're gearing up for Test Flight 3, currently targeted for sometime in February. We're also building a second Starbase launch tower, which visualization you see
They're
there.
actually
that
telling
will,
about it.
Further increase Starship's flight opportunities. And I love this. This is so cool looking. It's not that far off in the future. With our Starship Human Landing System, or HLS, we're part of the global team with NASA and companies including Axiom Space that will put astronauts back on the moon under the Artemis program. First, we're going to fly, and fly often on flight tests, one of which will be an uncrewed mission all the way to the moon. This will take place before the crewed Artemis 3 mission, which will be the first human expedition of the moon surface since 1972.
So it's
Also in
literally
testing, our engineers
next
are proving
year
out all systems
or this
necessary
year.
to make a trip to the moon possible, like propulsion, life support, even the elevator that you see here that will take crew and cargo from the Starship hatch down to the lunar surface. It's literally a space elevator.
That's awesome, Kate. And in addition to the launch and landing
That is
capabilities
so
that
cool.
you just mentioned, another essential component of the Artemis program is a spacesuit that is capable of executing a wide array of mission objectives. A spacesuit really is a spaceship. It's just a little smaller and in human form. So, in order to develop a lunar spacesuit that meets all of the objectives for Artemis, Axiom Space is building the Axiom Extravehicular Mobility Unit, or Axiom-U, back in Houston, Texas. Our next-generation spacesuit is built to provide greater flexibility and mobility, allowing astronauts to work on the moon in ways that were not possible 50 years ago. We've also put a strong emphasis on modularity, meaning that the Axiom-U suits will support a wide range of body sizes and types. From the hand-built soft goods to the life support, advanced avionics, and communication systems, this entire Axiom-U system is built with integrity and care from head to toe. And I'm truly honored to say that I'm a small part of that amazing team. Leveraging years of this human spaceflight experience and partnering with numerous industry leaders, Axiom Space is ensuring that the Axiom U allows astronauts to succeed on Artemis and beyond.
There's so much to look forward to with this groundswell of focus on the moon. It's just incredible that humans are finally going back to the moon, and the efforts of SpaceX and Axiom get to play a vital role in that.
I know. I love that we get to be a part of this in our generation, right? Like, this is what commercialization of space looks like. It takes cooperation, it takes coordination, and a lot of dedication. And Ax-3 is a critical step in demonstrating those core components.
Absolutely. Now, for those that have just recently joined, we are now about 51.5 minutes away from launch. The clock continues to count down to the launch of Ax-3. So let's share some of the highlights of the day that got us to where we are now.
Nice.
Exactly. So crew wrapped up their quarantine phase, taking a flight from their quarantine facility at Kennedy over to Kennedy Space Center. You can see them there on the helicopter as they think about their flight and pass over the Cape. And what I think is really cool about this is they get to see their vehicle from this perspective too as they come in, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, you know, they're going to touch down, they're thinking about their mission, and then they get to wave to their families. They get to see, they haven't seen them in so long. They get to wave to them, have a final goodbye. And at this point, this is where we really hand over to SpaceX to complete the rest of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, look at those smiles. Everyone's excited, as they should be.
Yeah.
So after they arrive and after they're handed over to the crew, they go through a series of events such as putting their suits on. Obviously, they take a ride up to, oh, here we can see there. This is the moment where they walked out of the Falcon building. This is where our SpaceX suit-up room is located. They stand here, do another wave. Really, this was the first opportunity that we got to see the crew in their suits today. Got in those Teslas and drove up to the launch pad, which is about roughly a half mile away from where those doors are. I'm always curious what music they're listening to during this ride. You can see here that they are pulling up to the launch pad. Two Teslas.
What would my
with some
ride to the
obviously help support them
to the rocket be?
Ninjas, because we see them all around assisting the crew.
It'd have to be
like
Rocket Man,
getting into
surely.
Ingressing the capsule. So here, this is one of my favorite moments of launch day when they get to see their rocket up close. And man, just thinking about the fire that's going to come out at the bottom there in just under an hour.
Yeah, and at this point you can see our commander and our pilot walking down, as well as Marcus and Alper to their Dragon capsule before they get in.
Yeah, so at this point in time, that side hatch is closed. We had the post-ingress crew briefing, and we heard great news. We heard that the weather is looking good. I think the exact words were...
Right, guys, I'm going to be back in 2 seconds. I'm just going to go get my gloves, because where I'm going to climb on top of my shed roof is actually icy. So I'm going to go grab my gloves. Be right back.
They waved to their friends and family before suiting up, as we just saw. But that wasn't the first round of cheers that their families had for them.
To the whole crew of Axiom, mission number 3. This is the SARP flight test team that would like to wish you a safe and fantastic journey up to the International Space Station.
Hello from Turkey.
Have a safe space flight.
Good luck.
Ciao papà, buon viaggio.
Siamo con te, amore.
Siamo tanto orgogliosi di te, papà. Ti vogliamo bene. Ciao.
Greetings, Commander Mike and Ax-3 crew from your ASTM family here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Your dedication to exploration and discovery inspires us all.
Sevgili Alper, iyi yolculuklar.
Enjoy every second of it. Make us dream.
We're all coming with you. Yolun açık olsun Alper'im. Ax-3.
Que acuérdate de saludarnos desde allá arriba, desde alguna de las ventanitas. Y nada, que estaremos esperándote con los brazos abiertos para cuando vuelvas. Un besito.
Congratulations, Alper. We're excited for your opportunity to go into space, have a good and prosperous time there, and get back to Earth safely.
Grande bacio.
Un abbraccio dalla mia famiglia. Ciao!
Buon viaggio. Vai, zio. Ti vogliamo bene.
best of luck and have fun on this life-changing mission.
Hey, Ax-3 crew. Listen, you guys are about to have a lot of fun. Be sure you get in the cupola a lot. Call home. Actually, call all your friends. And just be sure you tie your sleeping bag down well. I ended up somewhere else one day. It was a hoot. Anyway, have fun. Ad Astra. Enjoy. See you when you get back.
Yeah, those are pretty wise words from John Schaffner there from AX2.
Yeah, it's just so fun to see everybody's cheers. Space really is for everyone, including everyone that loves the people going to space.
And operators are on countdown. Polling is complete. Both Dragon and Falcon teams have pulled go for LaunchScape arm, propellant load, and launch. Stand by for abort instructions. T-minus 45 minutes. Both control rooms go into lockdown and remain in that state until the LaunchScape system is disarmed. All operators are to remain at their console and maintain a sterile cockpit until MD confirms successful disarming of LaunchScape system following orbit insertion or propellant offload in the event of a scrub. For non-urgent no-go conditions, brief the CE or LD and they will approve aborting the countdown. For urgent issues affecting the safety of the operation, operators shall call hold on the countdown net. Launch control will abort the launch auto sequence immediately and proceed into launch abort. At T-minus 10 seconds, launch control will be hands-off and relying on automated abort criteria for the remainder of the count. Operators advise the launch director whether structural breakup or fire is imminent or occurring per Dragon manual escape flight rules. Launch control at this time. You may proceed with arming the crew arm for movement.
Launch control copies, proceeding with arming crew arm for movement.
Well, there you heard it. We are go to proceed with propellant load in just under 10 minutes.
Crew arm retract has started.
And we are beginning to retract that crew access arm. Both the Falcon 9 and Dragon are go for launch. Wow, great view of that on your screen right now. And in a moment, we should hear some additional directions from our launch director to the team. Now, of course, the crew is currently on board, again, with that great view of the crew access arm moving away from Dragon. They're at historic launch pad 39A. So now the range continues to be go for launch, and we're monitoring the clearance area around the launch pad as well as air and sea space around the flight corridor.
Diggity dog.
Even though we have been keeping an eye
It is
on
cold,
possible
guys.
storm cells near the launch site, the conditions are predicted to be acceptable for launch.
I have.
Downrange landing zones, if needed for an escape, are also go.
I've got gloves, guys, to climb up on top of my shed.
Now, the full retraction of that crew access arm is expected to take about 2 minutes and will be followed almost immediately with the arming of the launch escape system.
Whoa. Okay, the tracker is saying is above us, so I'll be right back again.
And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Kate.
Thanks, Ronnie. As we heard, the crew access arm is now moved out of the way. It is in its launch configuration. This is one of the last physical changes to the pad that we will see prior to the liftoff of the AX-3 crew. The next milestone that we have coming up will be arming of the launch escape
Dragon
system.
SpaceX, with that, you are go for Section 6, close visors, and arm launch escape system.
SpaceX Dragon in work.
All right, so right now the crew is activating the launch escape system. They're using the tablets there, the touchscreen in front of them. This system is the first of its kind escape system. Provides the escape capability all the way to orbit. It is our
SpaceX Dragon visors closed, arming launch escape system.
SpaceX copies.
We take every measure possible to ensure the crew has options at all times, including an escape in the worst of scenarios. It is our most solemn duty to make sure the crew gets home to their families. And we're here now seeing like we said, the crew is activating the launch escape system. If engaged, it would utilize the Super Draco engines, which are basically extra powerful versions of the Draco engines that Draco uses while on orbit. So, generally speaking, we don't want to activate the Super Dracos, but they're there in case if necessary. So launch escape system arming is now underway, but let's talk a little bit about the control rooms that we are operating.
Escape system is verified armed.
All right, there we heard the call out telling us that that launch escape system is now activated. So here, this is our mission control center in here just behind us, actually, in at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. We also have launch control at Firing Room 4 at Cape Canaveral. That team is responsible for monitoring Falcon 9 throughout the countdown and the launch. Whereas here, mission control is responsible for close monitoring of the crew and Dragon every step of the way as the spacecraft orbits the planet along its customized flight path. On console, or on headset, as we say, are a number of key positions who are monitoring the health of the vehicle and the crew. The mission director, call sign MD, as you'll hear out on the nets, that person's responsible for mission success and is in charge of the room. You'll also hear a specific role dedicated to communicating to the Ax-3 crew. We've heard from this individual a couple of times already today. This is Jake Vendel today. This is the crew operations and resource engineer, call sign Core on the nets. The other positions are focused on things like software, propulsion, navigation, avionics, life support systems, and ultimately communications with the ground segments. SpaceX team members will also rotate on and off to ensure that we have 24/7 coverage of crew and Dragon for the entire duration of the mission, all the way through splashdown. So fun fact, we also have a crew supporting the NASA Crew 7 team in an adjacent control room just next door to this one. So yeah, we have 24/7 coverage for all Dragons up at the space station.
That's awesome, Kate. And on that note, for Axiom Space, teams in Houston, as you can see there, coordinate mission support at Axiom Mission Control Center, or MCCA, as you can see on your screen. MCCA is an officially certified control center, joining the large network of other control centers, like you just mentioned, Kate, that support ISS from all over the world. From this secure facility, teams have live access to voice, video, data, all of that streaming from the ISS, and can work alongside their NASA counterparts to run on-orbit preparations and monitor every aspect of the mission in real time, 24/7, for the duration of the mission. This room is led by what we call an Axle, or Axiom Operations Lead. And around the room are also additional supporting flight controller positions that are each responsible for different aspects of mission support. That includes things like research, communications, medical, integration and stowage, and timeline operations. This is a significant step in our journey to expand access to low Earth orbit, as it is only the 12th ground segment partner for the ISS program. And through this facility, we are providing our customers and the global community a front row seat to the work being done.
I missed it, guys. I missed.
You can tell by the names like Core and Ax-3.
Oh my gosh, we've had a
roles and everything else.
Okay, the poll is now.
As the center point in those,
oh, you
those
guys are
nuts. On the
nuts.
Axiom side or the SpaceX side. So, as
We have a 50-50 on will it blow up.
39 minutes from now, the ground operations teams are doing a series of system checks.
I missed the International Space Station.
Dragon and Falcon are ready for launch.
Or at
Let's
least
take a look at what the ascent portion
it
of
looked
the
like
station
it. I missed it. I couldn't see it. It was perfect clear skies.
Once we hit T-0, we'll watch Falcon 9 and Dragon lift off from historic Launch Pad 39A, which you have a great view of right now, and begin to make their ascent. At about 43 seconds into flight, Falcon 9's engines will throttle down to help us pass through the period of maximum dynamic pressure on the rocket, or what we typically refer to as max Q. It's worth noting
It's
that
chilly
once we hit
outside.
max Q, the vehicle will be going supersonic, or faster than the speed of sound.
Once we are through the period of maximum dynamic pressure, we can throttle up our Merlin engines again. From there, at about 2.5 minutes into flight, we have a series of 3 events that happen in rapid succession.
Hello. I'm not going to try and pronounce your username, but yeah, hello. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're going to enjoy the stream. We've got so right now they are basically just filling up the rocket, ready to go, basically. And, oh wow, we've got 9 people. 9 votes, and going boom is actually taken over. Wow. So yeah, they're literally just filling up the booster and second stage ready to fly. As you can see, we are T-minus 37 seconds. It's been a long day. 37 minutes.
Back to Cape Canaveral.
Oh, and my arm of my chair is loose again.
Tanks are venting for the startup propellant load.
Oh, here you go. So they're just preparing to do the
Second burn
propellant
or entry burn
load.
helps to slow the stage down in preparation for that entry
Nice.
back into the Earth's atmosphere. And about 90 seconds after Dragon gets into orbit, Falcon 9 will land back on Earth. The landing burn will bring the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to land back on land near the launch site about 8 minutes into the mission.
And while
What's
that
going on
first
here?
stage is heading back to Earth, the second stage will cut off its Merlin engine that was ignited right after stage separation. Once this happens, we'll wait for confirmation of a good orbital insertion. Then, Dragon will begin preparations to separate from the second stage. About 3 minutes after the second stage reaches orbit, we should have a great view of Dragon with its 4-person crew drifting away
Oh,
from
it's going to
stage
look
2.
so cool.
Once
It looks like a space. Yes, it is a SpaceX rocket. It is a Falcon 9 with the Dragon capsule on top.
From the second stage.
So this is another privatized space flight. So these are also all European people in this, and basically they are going to the ISS for I think 14 days. Well, that's the whole mission. The whole mission is going to be 14 days. And basically, as she's just said, do scientific research.
They are laying the foundation for the future where more people from more countries.
Oh, really? Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for joining my stream. Yeah, it's super crazy to... Oh god, sorry, Nightbot, what was, let me, view deleted, yeah, Nightbot doesn't seem to like capital letters for some reason, no idea. Right, let's, how do I actually stop that from working?
Alright, right now we just heard the call at Falcon 9.
Okay, yes, it is going to the ISS. So the ISS has actually just flown over me, over here in the UK. So it is going to basically launch just behind it, and they're going to just catch up to it and then dock, I think, 23 hours from launch.
Which is what you see on your screen now. However,
Nightbot has just got no chill. It really doesn't. I think it's a bit overkill, just because it's capital letters. I wonder if I could turn capital letters off. But yeah, so it is going to ISS. It is a SpaceX rocket.
Advance the future of human spaceflight and potentially fly on a future Dragon mission. Check out SpaceX.com/human spaceflight to learn more.
Didn't the toolbox drop over the workers? Yeah, so they dropped a tool case. It was... I actually have something that's very close to... Oh, Rich. Nightbot is overkill. Yeah, of course it's Rich, yeah. So it was about... It's about this big. There's a little streaming snack box I've got. And it's roughly about the same size as that toolbox. And basically it just re-entered Earth and basically it just basically re-entered and then basically just burnt up. And there's actually some people got photos of the re-entry, which is so cool. Yeah, it is epic, and the fact that, you know, SpaceX have been doing this now since what, 2016, and they make it look easy now. Like, you'll see the booster landing is the best part of the whole thing. See, normal rockets just go up and then burn up in the atmosphere. these come back with the booster part. Actually does a flip around, and you're actually seeing a really good one today, because this one's going to come back to land at Kennedy Space Center, back where it was. So it's literally like crazy, and it seems like something from a game, but it's not. I've seen these. Yeah, some people sort of do see SpaceX as being, you know, evil and all that lot, and they're the worst company because they've done all this. And look at everyone says about Starship, their newest rocket. Oh, they've blown it up twice. Yeah, and it's a test vehicle. It's going to blow up. And their last failure was because of other things. Oh, exactly, yeah. They are oh, wow. What was that? It was a fire or something? JAXA. But yeah, they are helping. They are lowering the costs of going to space. I think now... what was the rocket that went off the satellite? There was a satellite that went up a couple of weeks ago. It's one of the cheapest ways to get a satellite into space, because where they reuse certain parts of the rocket, you know, they don't have to keep building a new rocket every time. So yeah, some people, they're helping study. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, they send up so many things for NASA. I think they've got quite a few for the, what's the American defense people? Whoever it is, the DOD, I think it is, Department of Defense. They put up some proper big satellites for them. There is a lot of studying and research done by SpaceX, which is mad. Oh, we got a helium load. Okay.
While human-sized centrifuges send the crew members for a spin to simulate the G-forces that they'll experience.
They've just tweeted again.
It can be a bit nauseating, but it does help the crew know exactly what to expect on launch day.
My solar panels are just giving me an alert saying receiving power. It's pitch black out there.
Since the earliest days of spaceflight. So fittingly, as Ax-3 heads to the International Space Station, the crew had the chance to be present for the patching ceremony of their mission patch in Building 9 on that module.
Well, yeah, that's kind of been speculated. There's never, I don't think they've actually pinpointed when it's going to happen, but yeah, they working towards that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Each one is incredibly special.
That's so cool. Look at all of them.
Crew and those here on Earth supporting each mission.
Yeah, it's pitch black outside for me here in the UK, so literally, I don't know why. I mean, I did turn on my outside light. I don't think that would actually do anything.
Building on the success from AX1 and 2,
oh, I wish. Oh, I wish I had the power from the rocket. It would be awesome.
This is one of my favorite parts of the pre-launch broadcast, because we get to talk about all the science that's happening. There's so much happening. It's over 350
okay, now it's saying stopped receiving power. So I reckon it might be because I turned my garden lights on. Possibly. It got a little bit. Oh, you're in Newcastle. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm down in Hampshire, down south. So I'm the opposite side of the country.
Whether it's healthcare, medicine, different kinds of technology applications.
I recognise this woman. Why do I recognise this woman?
Benefits to science and technology back down here on Earth.
If you had to summarize each of the country's portfolios, how would you do that? Italy, give me some words.
They are doing some fantastic technical applications for the Italian Air Force, and they are doing some really advanced biological research as well with some.
Definitely. I was going to say, my solar panels definitely ain't.
It's all about bringing all of Turkey.
I'm actually looking at it, and it's going. It's got three little lights. One says it's getting solar power. Middle one says battery power, and then the other one says pushing it out to my various devices. And it's got battery and pushing out, but I can't work out what.
And tech demos as well.
Yeah, it's.
Do you as chief scientist?
It's 9:21. Yeah.
Or is it then research, or
gotta love the Great British weather and the Great British winter. Actually, what temperature is it at you? Because I've got right now, I can actually see by my solar panels, it's -3 here right now, where I am.
Yes, so this is a project from the Italian Air Force, which is the Italian Space Operations Center, where they've developed some software.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just got to be when I turn the garden lights on, surely. Because I do have... Oh, actually, I've got a UV light over the pond that I've got. So that, -1, yeah, it's getting bloody cold at the moment.
Yes. Looking at different
it's been nightmare
from solar flares, for example, that can actually release damaging radiation that can not only damage.
I'm trying to figure out, is she British?
Damage the electronics in a spacecraft, so you want to avoid that.
Because she doesn't sound American.
Beta amyloids aggregation updated.
Aggregation.
Yes, and this is about Alzheimer's.
Exactly. So beta
wow.
amyloid is a protein.
So this is one of the experiments they're actually going to be doing up there,
if we can
which is pretty cool.
Aggregates form better, which we can use microgravity to really investigate that.
Cool. I'm actually getting a bit warm in here today. That might actually take my coat off.
Neurodegenerative disease can form, or potentially how we could even treat it.
And you talked about that weather forecasting, which is part of radiation. That's a big part. So briefly tell me about the Italian portfolio with radiation research.
Exactly. So they have got some.
Yeah, just to think, me and the Richie Rich, who was in the chat a minute ago, we've both been around here.
We also have some companies that have got some advanced materials that they've developed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's definitely in Florida, because literally there's a rocket just over there, and there's Starship Tower. So yeah, she's definitely British. But me and the Richie Rich have actually been all around there. We went on the KSC tour. And I got one little bit better, and I went into, they're standing on the VAB, which is the tallest single-story building in the world, and I used to, yeah, Richie Rich, he's been in and out of the chat. Was it Richie Rich? Oh, was it 370 Gaming? Yeah, I forgot his new name. But yeah, we've been over to Florida. We've both been to the place. I don't think Rich has actually seen a rocket launch yet from Florida. I've seen one from a hotel about 45 miles away, which is really cool because you can see the whole thing. You can't hear it, but you can see it going up. It's so cool.
Exactly. So
I think I have a video on my channel somewhere of that. I think it was literally called watching a Falcon 9 take off from my hotel or something. I've seen 2 or 3 of them now.
And also their neural responses. So yes, as you can see,
yeah, I have to say I'm a bit of a SpaceX lover. I even have the Starship patch just there, mounted on my wall.
If your stress response goes down, do you then perform better in space? And how can we then apply those technologies?
It does break the sound barrier, yeah. But just because of how far it is away from where I was, if you're 4 to 20 miles away, you can hear it just, and then anything further than that you can't actually hear it, which I was a bit upset of, because I really want to hear one of these. Oh, this looks really cool.
So it's actually going to help us do a physical sciences investigation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have supersonic jets. Yeah. That thing they were just talking about. It's basically what was the movie? Do you think the rockets would be loud? Oh yeah, they're very loud. I watched what we're talking when I was younger, Atlas 5 I think it was, and we were 4.5 miles away, and like there's the Atlas 5 in terms of power, and then this is where the Falcon 9 is, so it's such a massive difference, and it would be so much louder. And it was, I was what, so 2004, so I was 12 years old, and it's just mad. No, this is actually Axiom Space's YouTube channel.
with the commander.
So I don't know if NASA. I don't think NASA will be showing it because it's technically. Well, so SpaceX don't actually stream on YouTube anymore. They used to, but because Daddy Elon and his infinite stupid ideas has decided to move it only over to X or Twitter because he owns it. So if you go to X, you can actually see their actual stream. Actually, let me see. They still have a YouTube channel, and they do update it sometimes, but they don't. Yeah, you can actually see live on X, and it says. So here we go. This is just this. So there is them actually streaming over on X. But yeah, I prefer YouTube. X just seems to. Their streaming is not there yet. I mean, it's close. It's still 1080p, but sometimes it sort of goes a bit fuzzy and stuff like that. And I prefer YouTube just because it's sort of the default one.
That's because communication is key. The entire mission, from launch, on orbit, all the way back down to splashdown, is a tightly choreographed dance between all of those parties. And that's where communication comes in. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so they literally do so normally when I'm streaming, normally if it's a SpaceX rocket and it's an actual just a Starlink launch or something like that, the only place to watch it is X. So I'll stream to YouTube with X, with their feed from X. I mean, there's NASA Spaceflight. They are one of the biggest people for like YouTube streams now for rocket launches. They're crazy.
And from SpaceX, NASA, and other international space agencies and researchers, we can talk together. So there are teams monitoring and participating in this mission around the world.
Yeah, this is. I have to say, I've watched. When I started watching the SpaceX Starship feeds, it was literally like you didn't get any of this promotion stuff. You didn't get any production value. It was just a camera pointed at the rocket, and you waited and guessed when it was going to go off. That's always been the crazy ones, and some of them launches, I think one was almost 8 hours. Nice, yeah, it's good. There's a lot of other people that like space, which is good. We are definitely in a new era of the space races. There's so many new rocket people coming out, new rocket companies, new rockets coming out. There's like 4 or 5 new rockets being in construction now.
The team here in Houston will assist the Axiom space and space station astronauts with leak checks as they work to open hatches on both the Dragon side and inside the station's pressurized mating adapter.
Oh, nice. Well, you know, even soldiers, even going into like flying and stuff like that, test pilots, most astronauts start in some form of government agency like that, in, you know, public servants. So you might be lucky and go through the army and, you know, one day get offered to go up. You know, I know if I had a chance to go up, you know, I'd take anything. I'd give up anything, just even one day to spend in orbit. It'd be so cool. Yeah, no, it's look at that. See, Florida's weather. Let me see what the weather is like in Florida right now. Oh, hello. What's my friends just brought the new Galaxy S24 Ultra.
Alright, for those of you that have recently tuned in, we are now within 20
Oh
minutes
yes,
until the
definitely,
launch of Ax-3
definitely.
to the
I would.
International Space Station.
I may have a bit of a family and that. I just love to go up and just feel that rocket pushing you through the air, and then just the look out on Earth. It'd just be mental.
Here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
This is what SpaceX are doing. They're making it, you know, more of a reality,
and everything is proceeding nominally,
which is
the reports
insane.
That we had earlier during the post-crew ingress briefing was that the weather was great. Although we can see here on our screen a little cloudy, but we see some blue skies through there. So
yeah, there's a bit.
That. We also heard that the team
we just want to check the weather in Florida.
Falcon and Dragon remained healthy. At T-minus
your mum ordered a Cybertruck. What is it? One of the little Lego ones? I quite like a Cybertruck. Cybertrucks are mental. They are crazy. Right. What's the weather in Jacksonville, Florida?
Liquid oxygen onto the vehicle as well as
wow, it is 14 degrees. A real one. Oh, nice. I didn't even know they were coming to the UK yet. Because the stupid European Union's rules about how high the bumper's going to be. So if we can get one here, that'd be sick. It's 14 degrees in Florida. Oh, fair enough. Nice.
There's a 5-point safety harness. You can think of it like a seatbelt, but it's a little bit more advanced.
Oh, that's sick.
Actually,
oh man, I would honestly, the Cybertruck, it just looks so mental. I would love to see it on the streets in the UK because it's so big. Like it would look ridiculous. It's like seeing sort of like well, one of them Range Rovers, the big Range Rover, just going down a country road. It's this huge thing, and then a Cybertruck comes. It'd just be massive.
At this particular view, the person on
oh, look at that. So you can see this little tower just sticking up above behind the Falcon 9. That is Starship's tower. So I hopefully, and I'm saying this now, I will hopefully watch a rocket, a Starship, take off from that pad.
That we have a repeat flyer on Dragon. That's
oh, nice. Very nice.
On the Axiom.
So do you have dual nationality? As in you can go between UK and America?
Yeah.
That, oh man, I'm almost jealous if you do, because I love Florida. I've been to Florida 13 times now. Since oh, so lucky, so lucky. That is like, I always joke to my wife about falling pregnant and then having the baby out there, just casually, you know, let the baby sort of go 9 months before. Oh, actually that's the head of NASA. But yeah, I would love to get my kid dual nationality. I think it would be sick. There he is, Bill Nelson. This guy is the leader, the head of NASA.
And, you know, the 2 landers will be built by commercial companies. But we also go back to the moon with our international
I'm guessing it's because they've got some science experiments on there. So, and I'm guessing because, you know, NASA owns the whole lot, they sort of want to get their little 5 minutes of fame in there. That's obviously speculation, but I'm guessing it's probably because they've got science experiments on.
As evidenced by this flight here today.
This moment really is that culmination of that international partnership.
International partnership.
All of these things building on each other. How important is this for NASA to develop these commercial partnerships?
Oh, there we go. So NASA have actually had a part of it.
Axiom station. We're working on the suits that'll be worn.
Exactly. They are probably definitely happy. So that means less money they have to spend.
We want to get out of low Earth orbit. We want to go and explore the cosmos.
Oh, do you know what? It'd be mental. It would be mental. That's why I've got the poll. Oh, actually, have we gone back to 50-50? We've gone back to 50-50. Oh man, this is crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the abort stage for the Dragon capsule, so they would be absolutely fine. The people on board, like even during like on the pad. Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's I've not done many proper YouTube videos lately. I've done more shorts because the shorts seem to really get the good attention. But I've got a few KSP videos, stuff like that I'm working on. There's a game that I play. I think I've got a couple of GTA videos with me and Richie Rich doing our usual madness on GTA. Yeah, I have to say, shorts and TikTok has ruined me because I don't have the attention span anymore for like anything more than 8 minutes. I mean, the only thing I really do watch that's over 8 minutes. Oh, that is sick. Oh, well, that shows that YouTube's doing what, you know, I ask it to do. Oh, that's wicked. Well, thank you for joining from the short. That's well good. Oh, that's actually made me quite happy now. YouTube's doing a decent thing. Now, oh, you know why? Actually, that's because I posted one at 4 o'clock today. So it normally it ramps up about 8 o'clock. So actually, that's pretty good. We are almost under 10 minutes. Oh my God, we're close now.
For his crew, let's take a look.
Man, I am excited. We are getting very close. As we get to these last few minutes, I want to make sure we take a second to thank the training teams that got us here, that prepared this very professional team of astronauts.
I'm actually going to take my coat off now, guys. It's getting a bit bloody warm. Yep, 11 minutes to go. Let's can't wait.
Marshall and Huntsville, Alabama. Then to
Huntsville, Alabama.
ESA at the European Astronaut Center in Cologne, Germany, and Scuba near Tokyo,
Wait, them.
Japan.
That's
Axiom team.
I've got to go back quickly. Hang on.
Training for all the payloads that will be doing training teams that got us
right. I want to just say, this is a space
astronauts
place, right?
to go to the International Space
And
Station
as someone who knows a little bit about electrics,
teams both at Johnson Space
where is
Center
it?
Houston and Marshall
Where is
and
it? Is
Huntsville,
this
Alabama.
next one, I think?
Then to our international partners, ESA at the European
No,
Astronaut
not
Center
that
in
one.
Cologne, Germany.
There. Like, come on. These cables. What are these cables doing? Like, you've got it in the back of the computer, and then it's coming up here, and it's suspended off. Like, that is not cable management. Actually, what is it? Oh, okay, actually, I'm going to scrap that because it's VR headsets by the looks of it. Okay, I'll let them off. Oh, here we go. We are now in our count.
MLA, I do not mind at all. You've got the floor.
I've seen some pictures of some classrooms nowadays.
So first I want to thank
and I tell you, they scare me with like the cables just going between the desk and like the smart board.
To low Earth orbit, and they are the Italian Air Force and its various ministries of its government.
Nice. Why is my headphone cable decided to wrap around? There we go.
Space Agency and its ministry,
Oh.
as well as the Swedish National Space Agency in tandem with ESA.
You all have PCs now. Oh, that's crazy.
If you're listening to this through an earpiece sitting in Hangar X in launch control or in Hawthorne and mission control, you're on the team.
Oh. I have to say, PCs when I was at school, they were slow as anything. Windows XP. I think I had Windows Vista as like one of my very last computers at school.
It's true for all the trainers that helped us get where we are today with the
Mate, that's mad. That is mental.
And of course, the engineers,
It's just not fair.
managers and
I grew
who
up
over decades
in the start of it all.
designed, assembled,
The start of
and
everyone having
operated the most
PCs.
complex vehicle in the world that
I mean, the
we've ever
laptops,
seen.
oh my god, they were thick. They were chunky boys.
For the visionaries who
I think, what do we have?
and
It
developed
was CD
this
drives, I
amazing
think
rocket that
most
we're sitting on, and this
computers had
beautiful
back then.
capable
I remember
capsule that
floppy
we're sitting
disks.
in.
I remember using
If you're
floppy
in
disks.
The Rescue Ops Center, you guys are on the team, and of course, so are our friends and families who have
I would probably be. Fair enough, yeah. I say life being a teenager at school now is probably a lot harder than it is. A lot more stress, I could imagine. Yeah, it does sound fun, but when you're there, it's kind of like, nah. Hey, we are go for launch.
Copy all, Mike. As we just ticked through T-minus 8 minutes, I'll let you know you got a whole bunch of people rooting for you here and indeed all over the world. Godspeed, Axiom 3.
Nice. Here we go, guys. Yeah, that's sort of the what you have to be at school now. You have to sort of just push through and, you know, just carry on. I mean, I was bullied most of my life through school. I turned out half decent, I'd like to think.
We are now approaching 7 minutes until
hey, just carry on.
Ax-3
Yeah.
The next event that we'll hear
and now I'm a chef. Well,
chill.
okay, a trainee chef, but I'm a chef, no doubt.
Engine chill has started.
And the Richie Rich, wherever he is.
Now flowing a little bit of the super chilled
oh, nice.
Through the engines.
I say, I always wanted to take up like boxing or kickboxing, but I just couldn't be bothered. I never had any sort of energy when I was a teenager. I just like give it up. Oh, there he is. There's Rich. Yeah, now Richie Rich works with me. And yeah, gets to enjoy lots of fun, don't you, Rich? It's always a fun day at work. Oh, there you go. Fuel load is complete.
There that we have completed loading RP1, which is a highly refined type of kerosene on board stage 1 of Falcon 9. You've got that great view on your screen.
Nice.
As we mentioned earlier, Falcon 9 is an RP1 and
yes, it is, Rich. You lie. You always have fun at work.
On the vehicle on both first and
oh god. Right, I'm going to end the poll at T-minus 1 minute. We are dead on 50-50. That is mad.
Launching out of pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center. We are
this should be fun.
For the weather conditions, which we're always
oh, look at it. Look how... Look at pad 39A. It's just mental. There's your Starship Tower. There's your Falcon Tower. Oh, look at that.
This involves a couple of things.
So that hasn't changed at all. Hey, Tubblesmeister, my brother. Hello. Nice to see you. There's a bug. Nice to see you. Yeah, you joined just in perfect time, Mark.
Remains underway. We are completely loaded with all of our RP1, that rocket grade.
So like Kate mentioned, we are heading into terminal count, and Falcon 9 is ready for that
back.
configuration. We also just heard the call out that the Falcon 9
sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened.
Is that white structure you see to the right of the vehicle right now? That's used.
There we go.
Those clamp arms begin
right, I'm back. I don't know what happened.
And there they are now.
But my whole internet just sort of dipped for a second.
It will retract
and then it come back.
Upon ignition of the engines.
Not a clue what happened. Oh, here we go. So we got now 11 votes. Wow, the poll is going mad today.
As I mentioned before,
YouTube. Right, someone's stream. No, it's not that because I can clearly see on the stream health everything's fine. I've been here since you started, but got bored of you waffling. Now, that is what a brother is meant to say. I love it. Right, I'm going to end the poll in 16 seconds. That is mental. Your fast internet is brilliant. Yeah, I know. The funny thing is, I've just changed it. Right, 3, 1, poll is ending. There we go. Right, poll is ended. That is mad. Here we go. Everyone's starting to get a bit more excited now. No, what's crazy is I've just had EE, or the new EE, call me about call me about my contract because it's coming out, running out next month. And I've just been put on EE's new internet. So it's 900 up, 900 down. So, yeah, EE's now taken over BT, so I'm now going to be using them. And I've got 900 up, 900 down. I thought it was mine. No, it wasn't yours.
Over 2 minutes from now.
But yeah, so it's yeah, no, that was definitely mine, guys. Literally everything just decided just to stop working. I went to go on the speed test and it just wouldn't even open the page. So yeah, right, here we go, guys. I'm gonna up their audio so we can hear their side, and I'm gonna start being quiet.
Dragon is an auto idle.
Right, here we go.
Confirmation there that Dragon is in auto idle. Wow, great view of 39A on your screen right there as we head toward launch.
That's gorgeous.
Gas close and started. Expect loud venting.
I'm going to move my heater back a little bit.
Call out to our crew there that loud venting is expected.
Is the voice over? Welcome telephone, actually. No idea. I don't think I've got the voice. Yeah, I think it's voice over internet. So you can't have your thing. Because that's all
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Alright, here we go. We're in startup, guys.
Countdown.
Confirmation that Falcon 9 is in startup and Dragon is in
ears.
countdown. Which means that the vehicles are now controlling the final seconds as we lead up to liftoff.
Here we go, guys.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Yes, we are go for launch.
And there's confirmation from our flight director.
Go for launch.
I know. I think it's because they all use. I think you just can't do it over fiber. So right, here we go, guys. I'm going to move my microphone further back. And here we go. Enjoy the rocket launch.
T-minus 15.
Oh man, you imagine you're just sitting there and you're like, I'm
10,
about to go.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engine full power. And liftoff. Go Axiom 3.
Ready to go.
Further beyond, opening the door for more to follow. Godspeed, Ax-3.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Yeah, the emotions, it's mad if you love rockets. Look at it going. It's clearing through clouds.
Of course, if you are just joining us, this is the launch of the Axiom 3 launch to the International Space Station. Those incredible views on your screen, and there's our first shot of the Ax-3 crew inside Dragon on ascent.
That is crazy.
Now, in just a few seconds here, we should hear the call out that Falcon 9...
power and telemetry. Stage 1 throttle down.
There's that call out that Falcon 9's engines are throttling down to help us pass through the period of maximum dynamic pressure during ascent.
So already...
Max Q.
There's that call out for Max Q.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Yeah,
and that Falcon 9 is going faster than the speed of sound.
There you go, there's the onboard shots going through the clouds.
Now, at this point, we will begin to throttle Falcon 9's engines back up.
Stage 1 throttle up.
There's that call out for mission control as well.
So on a clear
as
day,
our Ax-3
it's
crew
so
continues
nice.
on their way to space.
You can see like all of Florida and like it generally looks amazing.
We're now T+1 minute and 32 seconds into flight.
Yes, Martin, there's people on it.
Is NVAC chill, similar to what...
NVAC chill underway.
There's that call telling us
look
that,
at the,
again, we're flowing a little
plume.
bit of that super chilled liquid oxygen.
Stage 1 Bravo.
So, look at the lean across.
That
it's
call there
mental.
was one of the abort mode callouts that
oh,
the
look
crew
at
is
that.
calling out as they are making their ascent on Falcon
This
9.
is my favourite part of the launch.
Now,
where it gets into the less dense part of the atmosphere and it just expands the plume, just goes crazy.
Main engine cutoff, or MECO, as it's there on the bottom of your screen.
Oh, I like that
stage
little
separation, ignition of the first stage engine.
What even is that mine? I can't quite see it from over here. I've got two blinding lights in my eyes. So here we go. So this should cut off. This should be the cut-off engine and stage separation.
That the engines are beginning to throttle down.
Oh, nice, wicked.
Stage separation confirmed.
Here we go.
SpaceX Dragon.
Watch this bit. So that booster, there you go. So there's the booster right there, going back to Earth.
First and second stages have separated.
It is mental.
Beautiful view there. The brighter light is the second stage under power of the
So that's the second stage there, and that bit that flew off,
is now
that is the booster.
Toward the Florida coast.
Here we go. Here we go. Look at this.
Launches is we're going to get some amazing views. We should be able to
see. You can still see the second stage
as the first stage
going
gets
off on that bit.
Closer to landing zone 1.
Mate, look at them happy faces. Look at them happy faces.
Note that that first stage is actually still coasting to its apogee. So it's about, as you can see there on your screen, 114, 115 kilometers above the Earth's surface. And it's going to keep coasting for a little bit.
This is
beautiful
mental.
View there on the right-hand side of your screen of that MVAC engine.
Boost back, shut down.
All right, that boost back burn has concluded on the first stage.
Twitter's going mad on my phone.
Everything looks nominal with the second stage.
And these little grid fins are going to come out now, and that's going to help it like steer through the
the first stage, as well as we see those grid fins begin to deploy.
So this one on the right is still being powered, and it's still
for the first
shooting
stage, which
off.
right now is on the left-hand side of your screen, is going to be the entry burn at about T plus 6.5 minutes, where we'll light 3
I'm trying
of
to
Falcon
find
9's
on the
first
right-hand
stage
side where
engines,
the...
followed shortly thereafter by the landing burn at T plus 7 minutes and 32
That's
seconds.
not Jesse, is
This will
it?
be a single
It doesn't
engine
sound
burn
like Jesse.
to bring us back to landing zone 1 at Kennedy Space Center. Great view there of our crew on board. And you can, of course, always keep an eye on their telemetry down in the bottom corner of your screen.
Down here on the bottom right. So this here on the right hand side is the second stage where they are, and then the booster is here on the left hand side.
At this point, we should be just about a minute and a half away from that entry burn start.
SpaceX trajectory nominal.
Good call outs there that we continue on a nominal trajectory with Dragon.
SpaceX Dragon, we copy.
And acknowledgement from the crew.
So now look at the booster. The booster's now just coasting
These are
back
incredible
to where
views
it's
on
come
your
from.
screen
So it's
right
gone
here. Again,
up.
the left-hand side of your screen is stage 1, making its way back to Florida, and stage 2, you see that MVAC engine burning, taking our Ax-3
Yeah, so it's gone all the way up.
orbit.
It's turned around and boosted back. So now it's going to come back over down to Florida. This is probably one of my favourite landings of a Falcon 9 booster. Normally they just keep going, and then there's a drone ship, basically a football-sized pitch boat that it lands on top of. But this one is so much better because it's actually going to land back at Kennedy Space Center.
Dragon, SpaceX trajectory nominal.
Look at that.
That's a nominal trajectory for Dragon as we continue to orbit. Again, confirmation from the crew.
There you go. And look how fast it's going. So it's going 4,000, 500 miles an hour, kilometers an hour. So it is coming down fast. It is coming down very, very fast.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
There you go. So actually, I was quite close to that, wasn't I? 4,500 kilometers. I think it brings it down to about 2,000. Oh, okay. Wow, it's different speeds on this one, so that you can actually see some of the trail where it came up. Now that's the pretty cool bit.
As we heard the call out, that
wow, it's going really fast.
The next burn will be the landing burn. As I mentioned before,
it's still going really, really fast.
We're going to come through the clouds right now.
Dragon, SpaceX.
They are really using atmosphere to like slow it down.
Look nominal for the second stage there on the right-hand side of your screen. These really
the booster recovery doesn't look very good. It looks kind of
both the first stage
fast.
and the second stage on the right. Right through with these clouds should be.
Wow.
Our first view once again.
Oh, look at that. There you go.
We see landing zone 1.
It's coming in too fast, surely. Oh, wow. No, okay, maybe not.
SpaceX Mission Control Hawthorne.
Look at that.
To see if we
Oh, 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 that leg. Oh.
And if you couldn't tell by the loud cheers, we did stick.
I generally thought the leg wasn't going to open.
Once again, but turning our attention back to the crew, as you see there, our next event
That is
second
nuts.
engine cutoff, or SECO, as it's referred to there at the bottom of your screen.
That is crazy.
We'll post for a few minutes until Dragon is commanded to separate. A lot of just the energy here at SpaceX Mission Control is buzzing. You can hear commentary behind us. Right now, the crew is experiencing about 3 Gs, so pretty much a roller coaster for those thrill seekers out there.
I was going to say, the guy on the left looks like he's definitely feeling it.
And we are about 20 seconds away from that second engine cutoff. MLA will know this, this feeling very well, this experience of going from now
definitely
4 Gs to
Shannon.
Copy Shannon.
As another abort mode there being called out. Now standing by for second engine.
We've lost video feed. And there you go, it's back.
Impact shutdown.
Nice, there we go, guys. It is in orbit.
Dragon, SpaceX, you're in a nominal orbit.
There we heard those call outs of second engine shutdown and nominal orbital insertion.
Right, I wonder, will we be able to see this?
Escape system disarmed.
And the disarming of our launch escape system.
What is that?
That, of course,
Is that the payload?
Ax-3 crew is getting their first experience here in microgravity.
So what's going to be their 0G indicator? Normally they take something up to act as their like 0G indicator. I mean, you can already see it with the like zippers and stuff like that.
To begin actuating those Draco maneuvering thrusters on board the vehicle.
Mate, that's so sick.
Now, as we prepare for Dragon separation, we should have a great camera view here in just a couple of minutes. Oh, wow, and beautiful views of the Earth. And our MVAC engine up there in orbit as well.
So this is the only part that they do not recover. This is the only part that they actually, every launch, have to build a new one, is their second stage. Look at that. So this should be from the payload side. So this is where we'd normally see the Starlink satellites drift off.
Absolutely incredible.
Look at the bit of ice flying off.
As we await Dragon separation in just about a minute.
That was so sick. That was honestly so cool. I still can't believe that bloody landing leg on the right side of the booster gave me a heart attack, because it just sort of like, it come out and it didn't move down, and then the others were already halfway down and it finally went down. I'm like, are we going to get a booster lean over and blow up?
We are now just about 30 seconds away from that anticipated Dragon separation.
Nice. Come on. Hurry up. Mate, it's so warm in here now. It's 19 degrees in here. So it's warmer in my man shed than it is in Florida right now. That's mental. Come on.
And a great shot of mission control here in our headquarters at Hawthorne, California.
Mate, he's waving in the background. He's like, hi, Mum, I've made it. Is that literally like zip ties?
Here is taking a look at Dragon. What we're waiting for is nose cone deployment, among other things. Which
there it goes.
Earlier. There we go.
That was literally, that's all cable tied. Little blue cable ties.
As you can see,
That was mental.
Separated from the second stage, a pretty cool view here looking up at the heat shield that will return the Ax-3 crew back to Earth in just about 2 weeks. So this is our first view of Ax-3 flying free.
Nice.
The next physical change that we will see will be the deployment of the nose cone. That will take.
Dragon, this is the.
Oh, there's the Draco thrusters.
Falcon team. We want to congratulate you on a great ride to orbit. I think you're demonstrating the ultimate in reuse. A reused Commander, a reused Dragon, and a reused Falcon. Or maybe flight experience is a better word. Enjoy space.
And Axiom 3, y'all Durst, and as I was saying, it's a team sport. Thank you guys.
Oh, nice. That's wicked.
And Axiom 3, this is your launch director here. Walter, Albert, and Marcus. Congrats and welcome to your first flight on Dragon. Mike, on the other hand, welcome to the Dragon Frequent Flyer Club. I imagine you'll have enough miles to qualify for platinum status after this flight. Godspeed, Axiom 3. Cheers.
Oh, that's wicked.
Mark, thanks to you and your team. We're very grateful up here.
So, they are... Guys, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to see if I can see it pass over. Because by the looks of it, it's there.
Oh, I heard the ping. That is our first
which is coming over. So, I am going to be back in a second. And I'm going to go and try and find this fly over us.
MLA was also commander of. So,
I'll be back,
talk
guys.
About reuse. We also have some reuse on our side as well. We also heard some nice words from launch director Mark Soltis. So just really nice communication from both the Falcon team and the Dragon team to the Ax-3 crew.
And with that, our Ax-3 crew is in orbit and on their way to the International Space Station. Obviously, great views of the crew there. And now mission control, again, that's...
SpaceX Dragon. Jake, any chance you could encode one of the centerline cameras, we could watch the nose cone?
The crew's getting right into it. I love it.
Dragon, we copy on the request. And Dragon, we expect that will automatically happen in the state machine here imminently.
So with that, we are going to throw it back over.
We see Hooks still traveling.
Okay, we stand by.
Great views there of our crew, again, on their way to the International Space Station. And already getting right down to the business of operating Dragon. You can still see a huge number of our team gathered behind mission control.
Dragon SpaceX, we see nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
And confirmation that we're getting nominal checkouts of those Draco thrusters on board Dragon.
Copy, Jake. And for your awareness, we have visors open, crew are well, feeling well.
Copy, great news.
So for those of you that have just recently tuned in, Ax-3 is in space. The crew is experiencing their first taste of microgravity. Here is a view of our MVAC engine, which has been shut down. The crew has actually separated away from the second stage, which is where that MVAC engine is located. We are standing by for nose cone deployment. This takes a few minutes to complete as there are 2 sets of hooks that need to be opened independently of each other. By deploying the nose cone, we are able to expose the docking mechanism, which is, of course, what the crew will utilize, or excuse me, what Dragon will utilize to autonomously dock with the International Space Station. Overall, it was a pretty smooth flight all the way through countdown to liftoff. We're now approaching 17 and a half minutes into flight. Once again, the next milestone will be to deploy the nose cone. This is basically the last physical change that Dragon will undergo in order to begin its journey. Well, not really begin, it's already on the way, but in order to be ready for its approach to the International Space Station. All right, so it's hard to see at the moment because the camera is still close to the hardware, but this is the nose cone opening. Slow and steady wins the race. Of course, when you're in space, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So for very good reasons, we don't just fling the thing open. It's very slow and steady. Again, this allows us to expose the docking mechanism, the hardware that will be utilized to dock with the International Space Station. That hatch, which is the forward hatch, will then be opened, and that's how the crew will get in and out of Dragon while it is up at the space station for the next 2 weeks. So that side hatch, which is where we saw the crew, or technically they were already in by the time that we started our broadcast, but the crew did ingress Dragon today, just a couple hours ago, through that side hatch. That remains closed. That won't open again until they are safely back on Earth on our recovery ship. So this nose cone that we see here slowly being opened is basically opening the first part of a multi-system door for them to get in and out of the International Space Station. I mentioned before that docking is autonomous. That means that Dragon does the steering itself. Our pilot, Walter Vilade, has the training and the capability to take control if necessary, but nominally speaking, Dragon flies on autopilot. It does the thinking and the calculation itself, which at the end of the day is ultimately much safer than human steering, as you know, there's more, humans are prone to error because we are human. So that's a live view there of SpaceX Mission Control Center here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. It is in the middle of our workday, so of course, many folks have returned to their positions, their desks, their job, and they are continuing to do what we do best, and that's build spacecraft and rockets and send people to space, just like we have done today. So with that, let's check in over with Courtney, who is standing by at the ISS Mission Control Center in Houston. Courtney, how are things looking over there? It's over to you.
Hey Kate, everything is great. What a beautiful launch today. And with today's successful launch of Ax-3, the teams at NASA's Johnson Space Center will be monitoring Dragon's flight to the International Space Station over the next 36 hours. NASA's role in this journey really kicks in at a period called Integrated Operations, where Dragon is much closer to the station. At this point, NASA, SpaceX, and Axiom space teams are all in lockstep to get the crew safely docked. The teams here are preparing for a docking of Ax-3 to the station on Saturday morning. For now, that will be it from us in Mission Control Houston, and we'll be back with you Saturday for docking. And for now, we'll send it back to you, Kate and John.
Thanks, Courtney. And we did hear that we had nominal opening of the nose cone, so that is great news. Yeah. Now, over the next 30 hours, 30 plus hours really, Dragon will execute a series of burns to gradually raise and line up the Ax-3 crew for docking with the International Space Station in what we refer to as the activation and rendezvous phase of the mission. In just a few minutes, the crew will change out of their spacesuits and get a little bit more comfortable for flight, and something that would be my favorite part, enjoy their first meal aboard the spacecraft. Over the course of their flight, they will have a rest period that will last for about 8 hours. Before they arrive at the space station, we will have 2 potential opportunities to chat briefly with the crew on orbit, one around 3:15 p.m. Pacific and another around 6:20 p.m. Pacific.
Dragon SpaceX, environments look good for suit doffing, and the cabin camera is soon to be configured. Your go for suit doffing.
Copy, we'll put 4.012 in work.
All right, so that call out there just saying that the crew is clear to take off their suits. As I had mentioned, they're able to get a little bit more comfortable for the upcoming journey. Now, we were talking about some on-orbit opportunities to chat with the crew. While we are hopeful that one of those opportunities will work out, neither opportunity is guaranteed, as they are unfortunately dependent on both crew schedule and ground station coverage. However, if we are able to support, we'll make an announcement on our social media channels no later than 15 minutes before the event start time. In the meantime, be sure to keep tabs on the mission at axiomspace.com, and you can also track...
And Dragon cameras are external.
You can also track Dragon's flight on SpaceX.com/launches.
Right, like you mentioned, Kate, even if we aren't able to talk live with the crew, we will continue to provide updates on the mission across our social media channels. And then, as Dragon and the Ax-3 crew approach the International Space Station early on the morning of January 20th, we will pick back up with our live joint coverage of the Ax-3 crew's docking to station with NASA. So please keep an eye on Axiom and SpaceX social channels for updates, as there will be plenty of incredible moments to share with you over the course of their mission. So from all of us at Axiom Space, thank you SpaceX, thank you NASA, and thank you for tuning in. This is just the beginning, and we hope to see you soon.
Okay, guys. So, unfortunately, I did not see it. The moon was in a very, very weird place. Oh god, that's loud. So, I think the moon was in just a really bad place where it was actually too bright for me to see. So, unfortunately, I didn't even get any footage. I took a few photos of the stars and stuff. But, yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, that is going to be the end of my stream. I wish that they would do, like, a stream of constant outside, like, cameras. I think that would be really cool. But, what we are going to quickly do is we're going to quickly go to SpaceX website. And I wanted to find out. They said about tracking... So yeah, it's already way gone. It's already over all that lot. So yeah, unfortunately I must have missed it, but I will see it in about couple of days, something like that. So hopefully I'll be able to get some footage of this. But if anyone wants to track it, you can go to the SpaceX website, just go to the Axiom-3 page, scroll all the way down, and there you go. You have a gorgeous view of that. And there's the space station. So basically, the space station is 1.5 orbits in front of the Dragon capsule, and it will basically be doing a couple more burns just to speed it up and catch up with it. Now that is going to be it from me. Oh, look at that South Pole, beautiful. So guys, that is going to be it from me today. Thank you very much for joining, guys. It was super awesome stream. I'm now going to get on with probably play a bit of KSB 2. But yeah, so what the hell happened there? Okay, no idea. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm Lee. Fly safe, land safe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.